Now on to Peter Collins brings us live football coverage as Sligo Rovers face off against Derry City in the Airtricity League Live.
Only 3 points separate the trio at the top as the title race enters its exciting final chapter. With all three still to play each other, it's going to be a knockout series of games. Third-placed Sligo Rovers know that anything less than a win today could see the sun setting on their title ambitions. Visitors Derry City sit pretty at the top of the table and after 13 games without loss, travel to the showgrounds in confident mood. Dropped points, though, could let Shamrock Rovers in, who still have a game in hand. The race for the championship is definitely on. Yes, Airtricity League Live is back with Sligo Rovers taking on Derry City. It's live from the showgrounds for what should be a pulsating encounter. Kick-off at 2:45. Yes, hello and welcome. Make no mistake, this afternoon's game is the first of quite a few that will bring a major bearing on the destination of the 2011 Airtricity League Premier Division title. And the prize looks more enticing than ever when you see what last year's title has taken Shamrock Rovers this season into the lucrative stages of the Europa League. So the run-in should be enthralling when you see how close it is at the top of the table at the moment. The Candy Stripes level on points with Shamrock Rovers, 27 games played, to the Hoops 26. Sligo very much in the mix, just 3 points adrift in third, while St Pat's cannot be ruled out in fourth place. They're 6 points off the top at the moment. Well, 6 goals plus penalties when they met last week in the EA Sports Cup. Something along those lines would certainly keep us entertained over the next couple of hours, although they're unlikely to be as flamboyant today considering what's at stake. Who'll win it though? Well, that's not for me to answer. Instead, I'll turn to a panel of Kenny Cunningham and Richie Sadler. Great to have you guys with us this afternoon. Kenny, first of all, we can't stress how important this game is in terms of the league title.
Yeah, pivotal game has been mentioned leading up to the game. I think it's important for both sides, but Sligo Rovers for me in particular. They're 3 points behind Shamrock Rovers and Derry at this point of the season. They've got some difficult games coming up. They go to Shamrock Rovers next week. They got difficult away games to Bohemians and St Patrick's Athletic before the end of the season. For me, they just need a spark between now and the end of the season to really put a run of 4 or 5 consecutive wins together. And no better way than starting with a win against Derry City today.
Yeah, Richie.
Yeah, I think no matter what team, if they have a bad day today, the managers and they will tell themselves there's plenty of time to make up the difference. But I mean, if Sligo were to lose today, I think Pats will catch them tonight. I think they play Galway. And Rovers will be 3 points ahead of them with 2 games in hand. So I mean, it's hugely important that Sligo don't lose today.
It certainly is, but it's exactly the sort of title run-in that we all hoped for at the start of the season. It will be very close by the looks of things, one way or another. OK, time now to get a quick word from today's managers, Stephen Kenny and Paul Cook. They've been speaking to John Kenny.
Well, Paul, you're getting used to meeting Derry City. You only played them a couple of weeks ago, but it's much changed Derry's team today from the one you met a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, very much changed. You've only got a couple of players still playing. Completely different competition. It was actually a great game as well, by the way, to be fair. Today's a different kettle of fish. You know, a game that we're all, I'm sure Stephen is as well, very much looking forward to.
9 games left now in the season. This really is the crucial part of the year, isn't it?
You get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw and none for a defeat. I don't know the importance of the 27th game in comparison to the 3rd game. If you get beat, does it set you back? Of course it does. If you win, does it put you on your front foot? Of course it does. You know, the likelihood is today you get 2 teams that both play, you know, Derry are a really good football side, you know, with good players. I'm sure it'll be an entertaining game, you know, and again put the League of Ireland in the light that we all want it shown in.
Stephen, obviously on a very good run of form, top of the league, coming again up against Sligo Rovers, who themselves are obviously in a very good run of form and had a cup win during the week. Very important game now coming into the last quarter of the season.
Yeah, it is an important game. Like, I'm delighted with our form in the third phase of games where we'd 6 wins and 3 draws, and you know, so this is the last series of games now, and you know, it's a great game. You're right, because we've been in good form, beating St Patrick's and Bohemians in the last couple of weeks, and Sligo themselves are an exceptional team themselves, it must be said. So it has the makings of a real cracking game, you know.
how are the players handling it? I mean, top of the league brings its own pressures. How are the players handling it overall?
No, I don't. We don't see that there's any real pressure on us. Expectations this season were so low from, we just come up from the first division. Mainly, a lot of players in their first season in the Premier. So we wouldn't feel, I think we want the players to go and express themselves and enjoy their football, and with a determination to try and win the game. That has to be our ambition.
Yes, John Kenny talking to the managers. And Richie, it was interesting there to hear Stephen Kenny mention once again that victory over Bohemians. I heard him speak after the game, after they won at Bowes, and he was really thrilled and excited. He doesn't normally get thrilled and excited, Stephen. And the managers, they're contrasting characters, but Stephen is really up for this league challenge, isn't he?
He does, and certainly in his interviews, he may be different in the dressing room, but he does appear very mild-mannered, kind of a fella. He mentioned there about the low expectations at the start of the season. They no longer exist.
No.
They were low at the start of the season because no one was really sure what kind of a squad he had or what team he had and how they would cope with the Premier Division. We've all seen that now. They're top of the league with 9 games to go. There's pressure there and there's expectation there. But maybe his manner in dealing with the players, because there's a young squad that maybe that's the right approach. Not to, because there will be pressure. There'll be people like us, there'll be people in newspapers talking them up. Maybe he'll just kind of quell that in the dressing room, which is working so far.
Yeah, certainly on the sideline, Kenny, Paul Cook is a very contrasting figure to Stephen Kenny because he does get excited, he is very animated. He's been 4 years now at Sligo, he's done a very good job, and they have a cup under their belts, but he'd love to get a league title, wouldn't he?
Oh, he certainly would, and it's been interesting, the contrast in terms of how the managers have spoken about the game. The Derry manager really playing the game down. I think the inexperience in certain aspects of his playing squad is the reason why he's doing that. Paul has taken the opposite approach. I think he's got a more experienced, more battle-hardened group of players at Sligo, and the right approach for him might be to wind these players up, to remind them how important, how big a game is. Sometimes that brings the best out of your players. So I think for me that is the right approach. I think he will get that type of response from his players today. They have a set system of play, 4-3-3 system, that all the players are very comfortable with. A lot of attack-minded players within that system. They'll only play one way. Interested to see. I think Derry have tinkered with their formation today. I'm used to seeing them playing predominantly with a 4-4-2 formation. They've put the extra man in central midfield today, and that's understandable because if you surrender that area of the pitch to Sligo Rovers, you allow them to dictate the game from start to finish. So no surprise that the Derry managers made that change today. It'll be fascinating to see who gets possession of the ball and who dominates in that area of the pitch. Whoever gets on top in that area of the pitch, for me, probably gives them the edge overall.
Yeah, and we also know, Richie, that Sligo are very good on the flanks, and I suppose one of their unsung heroes really doesn't get as much headlines and as much attention as some of the other players is Aaron Green, but you fancy him and he's a key player for them.
Yeah, he's a player impresses me a lot. I mean, like you said, when you think of Sligo, there is certain players that always get the attention. This is him cutting inside, hits the crossbar. Doyle here ended up setting up a teammate, but here again he's very, very positive. Decent delivery inside, finds the ball to Doyle's feet. This leads to a goal. But Richie Ryan, Joseph and Doyle himself, these are the players you always talk about when you talk about Sligo. But he's been very good. Here he's very positive again. Look at this for a delivery. Exactly how he wanted, but that finish from Doyle, that's superb. I mean, to kill the ball dead in his chest the way he did and to find the corner of the net. Very, very good player.
Yeah, and speaking of players who are valuable, I suppose we spoke all season about James McLean and his importance to Derry City. It was always on the cards that he was going to go on the transfer window, and he's gone to Sunderland, and we certainly wish him the very best of luck over there. But the question was, who to replace James McLean? Have they found a replacement in Stephen McLaughlin?
Well, I think they have. Don't forget as well, Gareth McGlynn has been missing as well. Look at this passage of play. Owen Morrison in possession of the ball here. Shifts into Dave McDade. Really great awareness here. Shifts it out to Rory Harkin on the right hand side. Just keep an eye on Steve McLaughlin inside the penalty box. Great spring there and a fantastic header. That's a wonderful footballing goal from Derry. Again, Owen Morrison shifting inside onto his right foot. Gets his head up. Wonderful crossfield pass. This is Steve McLaughlin in possession. Just one thing in his mind. Shifted onto that left foot. Outstanding finish. Now, we've mentioned the absence of James McLean. Hopefully Gareth McGlynn will be coming back into the team, but it's created an opportunity for a number of these players. Steve McLaughlin in particular, that was the winning goal on the night in the League Cup game against Sligo. But he's a very versatile player. He can play on the left wing. He's also very comfortable playing as a main central striker, very adaptable, and that kind of versatility would be a big asset to Derry City from now till the end of the season.
Everybody associated with the league certainly knows that Mark Farren has had a difficult past 12 months. I think he had his operation on that brain tumour 8 months ago, and it's just wonderful that today he's back on the bench, and people in the league will be delighted to see that, Richie.
They will, yeah. It's a fantastic story. We're seeing footage of him here from a couple of years ago in the Premier Division. That's him starting the move. He finds his way in the box, which all strikers are told to do. gets in there exactly where he wants to be when the ball arrives and finishes. But he's different types of goal. We'll see another couple here. Shows good pace here and strength. He kind of muscles own Heary out of the way quite comfortably here, and nice finish. Yeah. But like you said, I mean, we're here talking about the football story, and it is great that Stephen Kenny has him to select if needed, particularly at this time of the season. But what he's gone through and the illness he had, and to recover from that, I mean, that was great news. That he's back playing football is great also, obviously.
Yeah, I suppose for Derry it's almost like having a new signing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a hugely important part of the season. I mean, Eamon Zayed has been prolific all season in terms of goals, but you're always looking around the team, who else can chip in, particularly at this stage of the season. Can any other player step up and score, produce 5-6 goals in these last 9 games of the season? Yeah. Steve McLaughlin potentially can do that. Mark Farron with his goal scoring record, I mean, it was 19 league goals last season, 18 in the Premier League the year before that. So this is a prolific goal scorer, and I'm sure he'd love people to be talking about his goals between now and the end of the season, rather than his medical condition. Hopefully that's behind him now. He can focus on his football. He's an obvious goal scorer. We saw that in the clips that we showed there. And again, that could be a fantastic story. Him stepping into the Derry team now and producing goals which could possibly win them a league title.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in full training for quite a while. I mean, he's not going to be match fit. No one is when you're out for that length of time. But he's good enough to score goals.
I'm sure the Shamrock Rovers supporters looking in this afternoon will want a particular result. Would you say that result is a draw? Would that be most favourable for Rovers?
I would think so. I think if you, of all those 3 teams at the top, any time they see their rivals play, you want them to drop points. Rovers have a game in hand, but the problem Shamrock Rovers have, which this might be odd calling it a problem, but they're in the Europa League, and all the hype and the expectation and the distraction that comes with that. Yeah. No club has experienced it before, so they don't know how they're going to deal with it. The players have never been at this level before. So if I was in the Derry or the Sligo dressing room, the message I would be giving to the players is, we've got an opportunity, because the Shamrock Rovers lads have been reading wonderful things about themselves, and it's possible that they may not be as focused on every single game between now and the end of the season as they would be if they weren't playing Spurs in 2 months' time. Yeah,
but in fairness, I suppose, Kenny, all 3 clubs are going to have a very busy end of season between having good cup runs and now very much embroiled in this league run-in with 9 and 10 games to go for Shamrock Rovers. So are they all in the same boat, really?
I think Shamrock Rovers have the edge just in terms of the quality and depth that they have within their squad. They've also have the game in hand on these teams. But I think the message, like Richard suggested from Paul Cook and Stephen Kenny, will be, let's stay on their coattails for as long as we can this season. When those Europa games come around, not easy to get your focus back after those midweek games. We saw it against Belgrade, that fantastic victory on the Thursday evening. Yeah. Players come out against UCD in the following Monday night. Not easy to get that kind of focus and application back, and that's going to be a massive test for that Shamrock Rovers team, and they've got to be in contact. Sligo Rovers and Derry, if they can stay within a point or 2 of Rovers going into the last couple of weeks of the season, one slip from Rovers, they've got to put themselves in a position to take advantage of it. And like I said, a win for either team today. Sligo in particular, I think this is a bigger game for Sligo today. I think they realise that they go to Shamrock Rovers next week. There's not going to be much in the game, but I had to lean towards one team for the reasons I've given. It'd probably be Sligo.
Okay, well, as you can see, the teams are getting ready to come out onto the showgrounds in Sligo. So with that, it's time to hand you over to our match commentary team this afternoon, and that is Pat Morley with Adrian Eames.
Thanks very much, Peter. Good afternoon from the showgrounds in Sligo. You wouldn't perhaps call it a must-win game, but both these sides have their sights set on winning the league, and so victory here would be hugely significant. Paul Cook brought silverware to Sligo on the double last year, winning the EA Sports Cup and of course the FAI Cup after a dramatic penalty shootout. Now the league is the target, so a very important game this, win here, and it will set up a massive game with Shamrock Rovers in Tala next weekend. Well, Derry, the league leaders, have surprised most people, winning promotion from the First Division. The feeling was that this would be a season of consolidation, but here they are, setting the benchmark for all others to try and follow. Some claim their title challenge would fade. Well, it hasn't happened yet. It's a fine, dry day in Sligo. Much rain overnight, some drizzle around about lunchtime. That's the Sligo captain, Richie Ryan, such a key player for them. Big Derry travelling support here this afternoon. Stephen Kenny's side in a rich vein of form. While Sligo Rovers hit a clinical groove on Wednesday, firing 4 past Monaghan in their FAI Cup replay. Brendan Clark, who missed the game through suspension, returns in goal in place of Kieran Kelly. Aaron Green scored twice in Gartha Keegan. His only league goal this season came in the opening night win over Derry City back in March. Irla Davern makes his 50th appearance for Sligo. Up front, Owen Doyle leads the line. He boasts an impressive goal haul of 17 league goals so far. Well, it's the same Derry side that went to Bohemians and won last time out in the league. Kevin Derry was a real doubt up to kick-off because of an ankle injury sustained in training, but he underwent a fitness test and has been given the all clear. Defensively, Derry have been pretty solid this season. Stuart Grecian and Shane McElhaney forming a very impressive duo at the back. Derry have conceded just 1 goal in their last 7 league games. Gareth McGlynn is still out with a knee injury. Up front, Eamon Zaid will be hoping to maintain his fine season. He's the league's top scorer with 20 goals. Beautiful setting here at the showgrounds. There's Mark Farren. What a story that is on the Derry bench today. Diagnosed with a benign brain tumour, forced to announce his retirement from football, but he's back. He's been given the all clear to resume his career. He has an incentive before him. His target, Liam Coyle's Derry goal scoring record of 112. Mark Farren boasting 107, so just 5 shy. Our match referee this afternoon is Dave McKeown, who'll be assisted by Damien McGrath and Paul Deering. Mouth-watering clash this, Pat.
Mouth-watering, and I mean, you're looking at 2 very, very good footballing sides, and you've got a beautiful playing surface. As you say, it's rained overnight over here, so that'll make the ball glide across the surface quicker, so we should see a lot of ball on the ground and a lot of intricate play. And you've got to look at the midfield people here like Ryan and Endo and Malloy and Zaid and these people who've got to put on the show tonight, and I think it should be a cracking game.
Well, these two last met last Tuesday week, in fact, in the semi-finals of the EA Sports Cup, and it was a cracker at the Brandywell. Derry winning on penalties. The game finishing 3-3 after extra time. Worth noting, though, that Sligo were at full strength, whereas Derry fielded pretty much another 21 side. So some win for Stephen Kenny's side. That's been the approach of Stephen Kenny in the cup competitions. Mind you, it backfired spectacularly in the FAI Cup when they went to Wexford and were promptly dumped out of the competition. But Stephen Kenny is a firm believer that young players have to be blooded. It's Sligo Rovers to get us underway in the first half in their familiar strip, all red, playing from left to right. The referee just checks the watch. Derry in their chain strip, yellow jerseys, black shorts and yellow socks. It's first against third. Sligo the host, with Richie Ryan sweeping it out to the man, making his 50th appearance for Sligo. From Ballinasloe, Irla Davern launching it long in the direction of Aaron Green. Green, who was pressed into service at left back in recent weeks, but restored to his more natural position as a wide player. You have to say, conditions absolutely ideal. Barely a whisper of a breeze as Gerard Doherty prepares to take the kick out for Derry City. He's absolutely delighted to be involved with Damien Richardson's team for the Dublin Super Cup a few weeks back. Hasn't got recognition by Northern Ireland so far. McLaughlin with the header on. He was very influential in the EA Sports Cup, trying to just wind his way around Jason McGuinness, but the former Bohemians man stood firm. Jason McGuinness, twice a league winner with Bohemians, also a cup winner in his time at Dalymount Park, hoping to win some silverware as Kevin Derry manages to get in the block, and it almost fell invitingly for Kevin Derry.
Yeah, but a very, very up-tempo start by Derry and putting pressure straight away on the Sligo Rovers back 4.
Tripped forward by Kirby for Aaron Green, and Grecian is across from the middle. Breaks to Irla Davern, who's been tracked by McElhaney. And out of play, and the decision goes in favour of Sligo Rovers. Irla Davern, who had to watch on as Conor Powell claimed the left back place, but Davern has won that position back. Powell amongst those on the Sligo bench this afternoon. Well, Sligo Rovers certainly have had the edge so far in the previous meetings this season, winning on the opening night of the season thanks to that injury time winner from Aaron Green. Actually, Eamon Zaid missed a penalty for Derry in that game. Also drew 0-0 at the same venue. And in the match here on the Maybank holiday weekend, Derry had 3 players sent off as Sligo romped to a 3-0 win. Brendan Clark almost caught as Eamon Zaid closed him down very quickly. The ball knocked out of play, and it's another throw-in for Sligo Rovers. Grecian doing the necessary. Davern's throw back to Jason McGuinness. And that's a nothing ball in the end.
just a bit. It's just poor at the moment from Sligo. They just haven't settled into the game. I know it's very, very early days, but like what Derry have done, they've straight away have come out of the blocks and they've really put the pressure on. And as you saw, Zaid nearly caught the goalkeeper out, and that's they just need to just up a tiny bit. It just seems a small bit quiet at the moment, Sligo, and just gradually bring themselves into the game.
Derry supporters certainly making plenty of noise as Stephen McLaughlin gets ahead to it. Gavin Pearce was there for Sligo. Here's Joey Ndo, hugely influential figure in the midfield for Sligo, and certainly brought that to bear in the cup replay against Monaghan during the week. And Ndo ticks, well, so do Sligo. Here's Danny Ventre, all the way back to Pearce. Back to Brendan Clark, who signed for Sligo Rovers after the demise of Sporting Fingal. Good ball to pick out here at Davern, tried to guide it on. It was really in between Kirby and Aaron Green. Endo trying to get away from Rory Higgins, plays it wide for Raf Krataro. No Alan Keane, of course, for Sligo, still out with that quad muscle injury, which ruled him out of the Europa League game against Vorskla Poltava a few weeks ago here at the Showgrounds. But Krataro has been quite impressive at right back. Normally associate the Tubbercurry Tornado as being an attacking player, but he likes to get forward, and he's certainly so far, in the absence of Alan Keane, defended with great gusto. Endo. Still Endo, and in a tight situation he tries to squeeze his way through, but Derry managed to repel the Endo threat on this occasion. Kirby for Sligo. Back to Danny Ventre. Loose ball. Ryan has to reach to get there, and he was caught late by Kevin Derry, and it's a free kick to Sligo Rovers.
Yes, in a very, very dangerous position as well, and I think there'll be a couple of them a fancy of this here. I mean, again, the ball has come in, and Ryan he's just quicker to the ball. Derry's lunged in, feet off the ground, and it's a free kick.
Referee Dave McKeown quick to award the decision, so a set-piece opportunity here for Sligo Rovers. In the 5th minute of the Showgrounds, Richie Ryan and Joseph Endo over this one. Not renowned really as a set-piece team, Sligo. Let's see what Richie Ryan or Endo can conjure up here. Ryan, the man from Temple Toohey in County Tipperary, will leave it for Endo. Corner kick.
Yeah, it's come off the wall. I mean, it's probably a poor free kick, and there's not an awful lot of pace in it either. But again, they've got a corner kick out of it, and this is where Sligo have been extremely dangerous the last couple of weeks as well. When McGuinness comes up, Piers is always going to be dangerous, and he gets an awful lot of goals, and these two need to be picked up by Derry.
Well, Raf Krataro made himself available for the short corner, but Joseph Endo will swing it in here. It's an outswinger as well. Davern has Richie Ryan in support, but plays it left for Kirby. Lifts it in towards the edge of the penalty area. McElhaney rises, and Eddie McCallion, steady Eddie, knocks it downfield only as far as Krataro. That's the return from Ryan. Angle ball from Raf Krataro straight to Stuart Grecian, the Scot, who has spent some 4 years at Greenock Morton and has certainly been a colossus in the heart of the Derry City defence this season, forming a very solid partnership with Shane McElhaney. Ryan dictating the play, sweeping it wide for Davern. Ryan, last year's Player of the Year. What a huge season, Richie Reinhardt. Owen Doyle couldn't retain control of the ball. Stephen McLaughlin, just 19 years of age, from the Inishowen Peninsula. A lot of clubs rumoured, at least rumoured, to be interested in Stephen McLaughlin. The feeling in Derry was that Stephen Kenny was delighted that McLaughlin remained with the club. There was speculation that scouts had been to the Brandywell to spy on the youngster. He's certainly acquitted himself very well in the colours of Derry. Well, that's a rather rash challenge coming in, and it's going to be a free kick for that foul on Alan Kirby. Taro. Pearce going square for Jason McGuinness. Again, Richie Ryan making himself available to receive possession, but he's closed down quickly by Derry. Or Derry rather. Derry, certainly right in the faces of the Sligo Rovers players in possession. Really cleared by Derry. Here's Aaron Green has a look up. Tries to thread it wide for Davern. Kirby with the effort, and just off balance he got underneath it. Goal kick to Derry. Ambitious from Kirby, but he had a go.
ambitious. I mean, but you can see the pressure's been put on him. That's why he started thinking he's had to hit it quickly, because for the first 5-10 minutes, Derry have just constantly put pressure. And I think what Sligo, again, just need to get on the ball, get the main playmakers in like Endo and Richie Ryan and these people to start passing the ball around and get these people more involved in the game.
Two teams that really like to go for it, so we're not expecting a negative game, and so far the portents are encouraging at the showgrounds. Here's Barry Malloy, a player who really makes Derry City tick. Kirby is there though for Sligo. Joseph Endo back to Ventre, slides it up but straight to Shane McElhaney. Gets the return from Malloy, in fact leaves it for Lafferty, and Lafferty all the way back to Gerard Doherty, who takes a touch. Owen Doyle closes him down, but the Derry netminder manages to find Lafferty. Sweeps it long over the top looking for Eamon Zaid, and Brendan Clark gets there first ahead of his former Sporting Fingal teammate.
I just think at the moment, Adrian, Joseph Endo is a bit lost out on the right hand side of the park. I mean, Katara's obviously gone back right full back to cover Keane, because like Katara normally plays right full back anyway when Alan Keane is playing, because Alan Keane is always gone outside him. So you'd like to think that Endo might come more into the middle of the park and start picking up the ball.
Patrick McElhaney back to Eddie McCallion. Lifted forward by Derry over the top for Eamon Zaid. It's a match this afternoon which features two of the league's hot shots. Eamon Zaid with 20 league goals, Owen Doyle with 17. Particularly impressive from Doyle when you consider that he only managed 6 league goals last season, but this season he's been a revelation for Sligo. Endo. Derry typically well organised, and Endo has given it straight to McLaughlin. Looks up to see what support is available, tried to pick out the run of Eamon Zaid, but Richie Ryan broke it up for Sligo.
Just doesn't have enough room to spare to work out there, Adrian, Joe Endo. I mean, he's out in the line and he's better off in the middle of the park, I think.
Early ball forward from Raf Kratara. Now Owen Doyle puts the foot down, great ball, keeper spills it. Aaron Green was closing in, and that was an opportunity from back to front for Sligo.
Yeah, marvellous ball, and there's Owen Doyle. He's looking up, doing everything correctly. Great ball in, and I tell you, it's a great little stop by Doherty. And I mean, he didn't hold it, but quick enough to get up and cover it all off.
Last touch came off Gavin Pearce. Eddie McCallion. Paul Cook encouraging his players to chase them down. Patrick McElhaney with the layoff to Barry Malloy. Repelled by Jason McGuinness. Grecian with the header. Flicked on by Derry. Patrick McElhaney once again. Just went down after receiving the contact from Jason McGuinness, who just held his hands out as if to say, come on. Rory Higgins back to McElhaney. Two McElhaney's, of course, for Derry, with Shane operating alongside Grecian in the centre of the Derry defence. And this is Patrick, the younger brother. And this is the elder one. Now Lafferty playing at left back, but he's got 7 league goals for Derry so far, which is pretty encouraging. Good angle ball as well. Zaid went for it. Clark didn't really deal with it, and it's hooked away by Jason McGuinness. McElhaney, decent spell this now for Derry City. McLaughlin's layoff for Rory Higgins. Higgins, such an excellent passer at the ball, so too this man Kevin Derry. Didn't quite pick out his intended target, and it's going to be a throw-in for Derry City.
Again, it's a great ball into the box. I mean, it's obviously there's a bit of height in it, but Zaid is pulled back and Clark has totally mistimed that. And again, if Stephen Kenny's looking at that, he says to himself, you know, let's get a few balls down there and put a few in the box.
Barry Malloy there to mop up for Derry. Danny Lafferty. McLaughlin closed down by Raf Kataro, who does really well in a very tight corner. Ventre there though for Sligo Rovers, lifts it forward. The goalkeeper Gerard Doherty out of his goal outside his penalty area, and he couldn't afford to take any risks with that one. Rosette will do nicely as far as Gerard Doherty is concerned.
Bit of space there though from Adrian for Doyle to run into, which is interesting because obviously Lafferty had pushed forward and Katara saw the space.
Paul Cook looking somewhat frustrated on the Sligo bench. In charge since April 2007 last year. It was such a magical year for Paul Cook and for Sligo, winning the FAI Cup in such dramatic circumstances at the Aviva Stadium, and a penalty shootout over Shamrock Rovers after extra time. Also winning the EA Sports Cup, but Paul Cook desperately wants to win the league. So too Stephen Kenny, and so too Derry City. Here's Eamon Zaid playing it wide, and a breakdown in communication on that occasion. McGuinness. Gavin Pearce. In the end, Jason McGuinness has to carry it forward. Poor first touch from Owen Doyle. It just spilled away from him. Richie Ryan for Kotaro. Now Joey Endo with the angle ball in, looking for Aaron Green. Stuart Grecian wins it in the air. And Patrick McElhaney is back to tidy up. Away by McCallion. McGuinness, awkward bounce. Eamon Zaid trying to profit there, but Gavin Pearce nips in to tidy up for Sligo. Knocked forward once again, Sligo going from back to front very quickly. Rather sloppy defending from Derry, and Owen Doyle almost in for Sligo Rovers, but Gerard Doherty quickly off his line to deal with that situation. He's very cagey at the moment, Pat.
It is very cagey, but it's very congested as well in the middle of the park, and this is why they're trying to hit these long diagonal balls to try and get a bit of space for themselves, and it's not working. So I just think everybody is too crammed in the middle of the park, and they just need to start knocking the ball small bit out wide. And again, you know, I've said a while ago, I just think Endo needs to come in more into the middle of the park and maybe push someone out right, so that he can pick up a ball and do a bit of magic. Well,
Stephen Kenny has enjoyed much success as a manager, guiding Bohemians to the league back in 2003, Derry to the Cup in 2006, 3 League Cups as well. But you do feel that the league is the holy grail. He would love to parade the trophy around the bogside. Here's Endo for Sligo. Oh, lovely turn from Joey Endo. Gets his shot away. Oh, what a cracking goal from Joseph Endo. He has lit up the showgrounds. Joseph Endo with an absolute bullet. Sligo Rovers 1, Derry City 0.
Don't think I'll say any more on that, Adrian. Absolutely outstanding. I mean, he's come inside, asked him to come inside, he's come inside, he's picked up the ball, it's taken a wee little deflection, I think, yeah, just a thing, but that's just different class. And you're looking at Doherty inside there, yeah, a little tip on it, it wasn't going to affect it anyway. Marvellous goal, world class, different class, different class.
It's the quality of Joseph Endo, and after a tentative start by both sides, Endo provides the breakthrough here, and Sligo Rovers lead Derry City by a goal to 0.
But you just want him in the game, Adrian, that's what you want. You just want him in the game. When he's out on the right hand side, he doesn't really have a big influence, and when you've got the likes of Richie Ryan and Venture in the middle, you've got to sort of give Endo a free roll, and you can see what he can do. It's just different class, marvellous.
Early clearance from Gavin Pearce. McCallion has plenty of time to scamper back, and the ball, pace of the ball beats him in the end, and it's going to be a throw-in for Derry City down the line. Sense of urgency now about Derry City, trailing here to that marvellous strike from Joseph Endo. And here is the man who played 21 times for his country, Cameroon. Richie Ryan. Oh, lovely ball over the top, but the offside flag is raised against Owen Doyle. He thought he was in.
And from where we were, it looked as if he was in, because it looked as if he was at least level with last man. So he probably looked himself and looking. He's having a chat with the linesman going, I think it was in, but like all centre forwards, they think they would be anyway.
Well, the Sligo Rovers supporters have found their voices here at the showgrounds, due in no small measure to that brilliantly taken goal by Joseph Endo. Clearance straight to Aaron Green by Gerard Doherty. Away by Davern. Straight to Grecian. Looking for McElhaney, and Patrick McElhaney peels away brilliantly from his man. Tries to play it through for Eamon Zaid. And Brendan Clark at the edge of his penalty area gathers. Davern. Aaron Green, former Galway United and Bohemians player. Davern, he had time to take a touch and have a look up to see what's on, and again they go long, seeking out the run of Owen Doyle, and Owen Doyle would run all day long, but he was never going to get on the end of that one. Spectacular goal for Sligo, scored by this man, Joey Endo.
Yeah, it's just brilliant. I mean, he had nothing else in his mind once he got the ball. He shrugged it off, he went inside and he struck it from all of 25 yards. And, you know, when you look at the keeper just totally rooted to the ground, you know it's a marvellous strike. And, you know, you can't say any more than just different class.
Joey Endo's first goal of the season for Sligo Rovers. And it's the difference. Still plenty of time for Derry City to turn this one around. Here's McLaughlin between two Sligo players. Derry. McCallion getting forward now. Sligo backtracking at the moment. McCallion continues his run. Aaron Green tracked it all the way, got in the block. It's a corner kick, but good tracking back by Aaron Green.
Marvellous football as well by Derry. I mean, they switched it from one side of the play to the other, and there's McCallion overlapping, and that's great defending by Aaron Green. But again, you see Derry, I mean, they're not downhearted about it. They've got straight back and they lifted the tempo, and they've pushed the ball around, and they're a very, very good footballing side.
Sligo Rovers defensively organising themselves here. It's an out swinger. Danny Ventry got a touch to it. Rory Higgins fizz back in, terrific ball, and Gavin Pearce heads away. Lafferty just beaten to the punch by Richie Ryan. Appeals for handball. Sligo get the decision.
Yeah, from having put a marvellous ball in, Rory Higgins, he's just come back, and he's a bit unlucky there. I mean, I've seen what he's seen it hit him on the head. I don't think so, but he's killed the passage of play, which is probably lucky from his side, because Sligo got a little break on.
Derry City only beaten 3 times this season, twice though by Sligo Rovers, and behind here at the showgrounds. Davern, McGuinness takes the touch out inside, trying to cut down the angles for Jason McGuinness. Here's Brendan Clark, who in the end rather hurriedly has to clear. Lafferty for Derry gets a touch to it. Shane McElhaney away. Petaro. Ventra available. Gifted it straight to Barry Malloy, gets the return of Derry. Malloy, former Derby County player and indeed Drogheda United man, plays it forward but rather aimless.
I think he saw McLaughlin out of the corner of his eye, was after making a run down into the left hand side of the pitch, but again Zaid had come short and McLaughlin had come short, so he just had his head down in an aimless ball.
Aaron Green wins it in the air and the header finds Owen Doyle. Grecian got a touch to it, McElhaney. Shane, that is, got it away. Pearce for Sligo. Now in Doe. Lafferty the slip, but that's an inviting ball in, but nobody on the end of it for Sligo, and Ger Doherty gathers as the rain begins to pour down at the showgrounds and some spectators run for cover.
Yeah, it's beautiful skill again by Endo. I mean, a great ball in the box, and you'd be sort of saying to yourself, Aaron Green should be coming in there, because Doyle has gone to the front post and Aaron Green as the far winger should be coming to the back post, and if he sees Doyle going to the front post, he needs to be coming into that area, and he didn't.
Raf Cretaro to take the throw in. 263rd appearance for Sligo, and he's got a little tash going on.
Yeah,
it's obviously
like
the done thing.
It's the done
in Tubbercurry, perhaps.
It's like the Three Amigos there. A spaghetti western movie, I think.
Well, he has been a terrific servant for Sligo Rovers down through the years, and he went to Bohemians, of course, last year, and then whilst he was away, Sligo went and won the cup.
There it is.
There it is. There's the tash.
Get a bit of slagging over that then, I think.
He's getting it from you anyway. Lafferty checking away from Joseph Endo. Fancies doing it again, but in the end goes back to Shane McElhaney. Very highly regarded Shane McElhaney. Now here's Barry Malloy sweeping it wide, and Sligo now have to try and scurry to get numbers back. Patrick McElhaney dispossessed and losing out on this occasion.
He just needs to relax a small bit on the ball when he does all the correct things. He's a fabulous first touch, he gets away from him very, very quickly, and he just seems to be very keen to get rid of the ball quickly rather than just relaxing a tiny bit on it.
Grecian's header straight to Richie Ryan outside of the left boot. Lovely ball as well to pick out Owen Doyle. Doyle has a bit of work to do here to get away from Grecian, just bottled up near the corner flag. Checks back looking for some support. Aaron Green arriving, and in the end it squirts behind for a corner kick with persistence on the part of on a combination really of Aaron Green and Owen Doyle, and Grecian a shake of the head. Corner kick though for Sligo.
Yeah, just a bit of sloppiness really as well, but it is come from pressure. But again, you've the corner kicks which Sligo are very, very good with, and you pick the same two again, McGuinness and Pearce, and they were very unlucky in the last, and Barry Malloy got a great touch when Pearce could have got a head in it, so you've got to be very careful with these two.
And Doe with the corner kick for Sligo Rovers towards the near post, flicked on. Aaron Green got a touch to it, and it flashes just wide. Green appealing for the corner, so too Danny Ventre, but the flick on at the near post almost yielded a second goal.
Yeah, again, a marvellous corner in. I mean, it's a lovely little touch on, and he's very, very unlucky there. But every time, you know, it's the quality of the ball that's coming in. It's just a lot of pace in it, and it's very, very, very hard to defend that. And when you're coming in and you get it, all you want is a little nick, and every time they cause people problems, like with free kicks and corner kicks.
Doherty's kick out. McLaughlin and Cotaro just tangling. McLaughlin is rather incensed. He gestures in the direction of the referee that he was being impeded. Richie Ryan, the return ball for Cotaro, who had to get there quickly. Here's Malloy. Derry, Ventry doing well to wrestle possession back for Sligo. That typifies the work rate and ethic and attitude of Danny Ventry. And Doe back to Cotaro, clips it forward looking for Owen Doyle. Grecian looking for offside, and in the end Grecian hacks it away. That's better off concentrating on the game rather than appealing for offsides against Owen Doyle. And again, brilliantly won back by a Sligo player. This time it's Richie Ryan. Gets the return from Aaron Green. Sligo applying themselves well here. Davern, Kirby, Green. Early angled ball in, and on the stretch it's put behind by Grecian, and that one really could have ended up anywhere.
Absolutely, in the end it's good defending. He's got a small bit of luck because he's had to stretch the leg because there was people coming in behind. Again, it's a good little play by Sligo, great little ball in by Aaron Green. He's got a little touch in it. Yes, there was someone else covering behind. Ryan's tackle is marvellous. I mean, there you go, fantastic. I mean, you know, he's just got in and he's got stuck in, he's got the ball and laid it off.
Well, corner kicks have proven to be some weapon for Sligo Rovers throughout the season, and Doe delivers towards the back post. Not the best of efforts, but in fairness to Gavin Pearce, he tried to make the most of it. Just too high and rather too deep from Joseph and Doe that time.
Not one of his better ones, but again, you look at Gavin Pearce, he still doesn't think it's gone, and he's challenged it back, and he's nearly tried to get it back across the goal. But again, when you look at every time the Sligo get a corner kick, they're very, very dangerous, and they obviously work them an awful lot during the week, and Pearce gets an awful lot of goals from them as well.
One in the air by Pearce, straight to Malloy. Now Derry, being hunted down by Richie Ryan. Here's Lafferty, plays it up the line, and Doe almost got a touch to it. McLaughlin under pressure, back to Lafferty. Doe for Sligo. Now Richie Ryan, straight though to Derry, who picked up a good position. Barry Malloy off Ventry. Derry supporters appealing for handball. Here's Patrick McElhaney. Teammates call him Fats, trying to slide one through for the run of Rory Higgins. McElhaney once again away from Davern, shapes to shoot, gets in his effort too, bouncing awkwardly, but goalkeeper Brendan Clark down to save.
Yeah, showed a bit of calmness here. I mean, he's taken the past two players. Weak enough shot, easy enough save, but a bit of confidence for the lad, and I mean he's taken it in, and you'd like to see a bit more from him than that, because again he's a bit like Endo, can light up the pitch when he wants to.
Endo trying to give Lafferty the slip, but the Derry left back was wise to that one. Higgins. Lafferty's ball looking for Eamon Zaid. Gavin Pearce got there first. Firm header away by Pearce. Here's Joseph Endo. Still Endo. Very little on for Joey Endo in terms of support of colleagues. Zaid. The ball around the corner for Stephen McLaughlin. He was checked, was he? No, says the referee. Gavin Pearce. The offside flag is raised once again against Owen Doyle. Been that kind of day for Owen Doyle.
It has, but you see, Adrian, what I'd be concerned about from Derry at the moment is Grecian is literally coming up and he's showing his hand all the time, and you've got to be looking at the game there. I mean, that's a free kick there when you look at that, but Grecian every time should be more concentrating and just getting the ball away and then leave the official do his job.
Foul on Jason McGuinness by Eamon Zaid. Well, Derry deserve great credit when you consider where they were, expelled from the league at the end of 2009 owing huge debts, breach of the league's participation agreement. Club dissolved and reformed. Stephen Kenny stayed with them through that very bleak period for the club, and they have certainly bounced back, leading the league on the return to the Premier Division. Layoff from Eamon Zaid for Derry. And off Jason McGuinness, who really stuck to his task admirably. Derry already showing the effects of that ankle injury. I know that Stephen Kenny was really concerned about it and considered throwing in Rory Harkin if Derry didn't pass today's fitness test, but he did, and he's looked pretty comfortable so far. Pearce back to his goalkeeper. Grecian rising, unchallenged. Straight to Jason McGuinness. Back to Brendan Clark.
Derry just need to get back to what they were doing well in the first 10-15 minutes, where they were knocking the ball around and keeping the ball. They now seem to just gone to this long ball to Zaid, and against McGuinness he's not going to have any chance.
Derry City unbeaten since the end of May when they went to Oriel Park and lost. Unbeaten in their last 13 league games. A great run is very much on the line at the moment. Stephen McLaughlin, though, doing well to get away from Kotaro and indeed from Endo. Still McLaughlin. Very little on for him, so he's forced to feed it wide once again for Lafferty. The early ball in, looking for Eamon Zaid. Nearly Davern was back to put it behind for a corner kick.
Again, another good ball in. Keeper's been rude to the spot. He hasn't even looked at it really. He says, not for me, and he's let his defenders deal with that. So if you're looking at the corner kick here, you say to yourself, let's put this in the 6-yard box and see what happens.
Kevin Deary is going to take the corner. Grecian is up from the back, as you'd expect. It's a poor delivery. Have Sligo managed to deal with it? No, not quite, because it's going to be another corner kick here for Derry. Poor delivery from Deary, so he has the opportunity here to make amends. Thankfully that drizzle we had a little earlier has eased off. Better ball this time from Deary. Pearce was stretching, and now he's galloping to get there. Been an excellent player for Sligo Rovers. Derry now trying to work it wide. Lafferty's ball in, and he was cutting in from the end line. Clark's delivery has put Kirby under pressure. McCallion getting forward, and Davern, well, he really nailed that one.
That was a great chance. I mean, Lafferty's got in around the back, and he's saying to himself, look, take your time. But again, he was after getting past the Sligo back four, and he should have. Lack of communication there, Adrian.
Yeah, McGuinness gets it away. Sligo just looking a little jittery at the moment. Deary for Malloy. Gets the return from Lafferty, faced by Richie Ryan. McCallion. Now Patrick McElhaney trying to get away from Irla Davern. Davern has had a fine game so far. Malloy. Davern appealing for the throw-in. Ball was never out though. McLaughlin. Jason McGuinness just again closed the door. Just demanding better concentration levels from his goalkeeper Brendan Clark, and I'm sure from all of those around him. Davern's throw-in, looking for Aaron Green, won by McCallion. Patrick McElhaney finds Eamon Zaid. Deary, and now Malloy. Lafferty, oh, well read by Ralph Kotaro. McLaughlin was the intended recipient. Oh, Kotaro needs to be careful here, but he manages to get back and feed it all the way back to Gavin Pearce, back to his goalkeeper Brendan Clark, who sweeps it away first time, straight to Shane McElhaney. Pearce with plenty of time to get this one under control and feed it back to his goalkeeper. And Clark booms it forward, again looking for Owen Doyle. Grecian just did enough. Kirby there though for Sligo. Aaron Green almost onto it, and McCallion was caught. Free kick awarded to Derry City.
McCallion, I mean, they're ones that are just very nasty for it when you're just getting them, because Aaron Green has just left his foot and obviously just getting Callian has just kicked through the ball and he's caught the sole of his foot.
Eddie McCallion, who has made over 500 appearances for Derry City. Managers have come and managers have gone, but Steady Eddie remains pretty much a constant in the Derry City lineup. McElhaney Now to stride forward towards halfway. Straight though to Piers, misplaced pass. And Doe finds Kirby. Doyle further forward, Green breaking out left. Here is Aaron Green. Lifts it towards the back post looking for Owen Doyle. Lafferty got in there. And Derry managed to gather possession of the football. Patrick McElhaney sliding it forward for Eamon Zaid. And the challenge is deemed to have been legal by Jason McGuinness, and the free kick awarded.
Yeah, I think McElhaney put his own back foot in trouble there by coming out having a little run up the field, and he's, you know, if you're going to come up there and lose the ball in the centre of the centre of the park, you want to make sure you've got cover, and he hadn't, and they were lucky to get away with that, Derry.
Danny Ventry is just feeling the effects of a pretty painful one, but he's okay now. Well, Paul Cook will be absolutely chuffed that Sligo have the lead, but Derry will have something to say. Plenty of time for them to turn this one around. Mind you, they haven't really created all that much so far, Pat.
No, they haven't created much, but I think the problem with Derry at the moment is they've tried to reiterate to go to a long ball and it hasn't happened.
The referee just has to restore order here between Stephen McLaughlin and Joseph Doe, playing the role of peacemaker. Rory Higgins back to Lafferty. Now Zaid, very experienced player, of course. Stephen Kenny knew what he was getting when he bought Eamon Zaid. He was getting goals, and he has certainly delivered so far. Derry, well, the ball just ran away from him. Shane McElhaney forward again. It's a wayward one. Cretaro. Ryan. Now Doe, faced by Lafferty. And Doe doing well. Kirby just hugging this right-hand side touchline as far as Sligo are concerned. Kirby forced to go all the way back, mind you. Away by Piers. Now McElhaney, lovely control to find Grecian. Poor first touch, he was almost caught in possession. Now McCallion. McElhaney, Patrick that is. McCallion again. Around the corner ball from Rory Higgins and out of play. Let's go down pitch side. John Kenny.
Yeah, with Jerry Carr. Jerry, you've got the lead. Your manager's a bit animated on the sideline, but I think he'll be happy enough.
Yeah, I think we've passed it quite well. I think Derry are trying to play as well, to be fair to them. But I was hoping we get another one. The next goal will be crucial. As I say, I think both sides are trying to play football. Derry obviously started very negative, but once we scored, they've had to come out a bit. So it's an entertaining game at the minute. Obviously, the next goal will be crucial to both sides, won't it?
All right, thanks, Jerry. Back to you, Adrian.
Thanks, John. Derry pinging it out to this left-hand side as Derry attack, that is. Steve McLaughlin now taking on Raf Cretaro. McLaughlin, neat trickery from McLaughlin, but Danny Ventre did really well to close down the space, put in the challenge. Ventre played the ball straight off Rory Higgins, and the effort coming in, whistles just wide of Clark's right-hand post. But Sligo, on the one hand, really good at winning possession back, but then they gifted it straight to Derry.
Yeah, but McLaughlin had a little look up, and I think he saw Clark was off his line, and I think that's what you can see him there. He's had a look up, and he's just, the application of the whole thing was incorrect, and I think he was looking at a chip. But I think what Derry really need to do, I mean, Zaid is up front on his own. He's not getting the service he needs, and on top of that, when he gets the ball down, there's no one giving him support to even get past, and they're trying to play balls wide as well. So I just think they need to change it up a tiny bit, Derry, and I think they need to get a bit of support to Zaid.
You make the decision.
Callion with the throw in. Rory Higgins. In fairness to the Derry City supporters, they remain vocal and they bang those drums, and they will do so all day long, despite the fact our side are trailing here to Sligo Rovers. Joseph and Doe with the goal in the 15th minute. Forward from Malloy for Zaid. Now here's a chance for Patrick McElhaney to break forward, but again, Sligo defending well for Jason McGuinness. Brendan Clark just getting himself into a spot of bother there before making up for it. Forward by Rory Higgins, looking for the run of Stephen McLaughlin. Raf Cretaro is back, and he manages to clear his lines. Here's Owen Doyle. Ball just ran away from him. Lafferty did really well to keep the ball in play. Forward from Malloy, away by Cretaro. Grecian, not too sure where that one's going to land. Under pressure here from Owen Doyle. McCallion and Grecian just clattered into each other. Almost Keystone Cop stuff there for Derry, and Owen Doyle almost profited from it all, but in the end it's tidied up. Green's throw-in. It's the return of Davern. Green away from Patrick McElhaney, but the challenge coming in from McCallion. Davern's throw-in, looking for Alan Kirby. Was a poor ball, but the final touch came off Barry Malloy, and that's a rather soft corner kick coughed up by Derry.
Very soft, but again you look at Grecian, who's gone out there to look at it. I mean, he should have thought to Barry Malloy his time here. I mean, the ball has come in, there's nobody on Barry Malloy, he just could have left it run. So someone can be Barry Malloy's eyes there and just say, look, leave it go, because they put themselves under pressure again with the two big lads coming up.
Well, the usual suspects are there, Jason McGuinness and Gavin Pearce. Aaron Green taking up his station on the near post. It almost delivered a goal for Sligo Rovers, and Doe's set piece is so important, but it's a variation on a theme here. Oh, it breaks to Kirby, chance of a shot. Oh, it whistles just wide. Brilliantly struck effort by Alan Kirby. And what a chance that was, as it fell invitingly for Alan Kirby. It was a meaty strike.
Yeah, it was probably, I don't think it was what they were working on, but McCallion has missed it. He's come out and he's missed the bunks, and Kirby's gone on his good strike. He's kept it down, and it's just whistled past the far post. There's Endo's ball again. It's a bit long, but there's the miss from McCallion. That could have been serious, and great strike.
Derry City throw in. Pearce with the header. McLaughlin got a touch, and it breaks to Kevin Deary, one of the more experienced players in the Derry lineup. Richie Ryan clipping it over the top, looking for Owen Doyle. Grecian has to be vigilant, and he was. Shane McElhaney away, looking for McLaughlin. Good header from Raf Taro. Well, you don't normally associate him as a right back, but he seems pretty comfortable, doesn't he, Pat?
Well, I was saying it there a while ago. I mean, when Alan Keane is playing, or Callan Keane is playing, Rafa Carr's nearly always right full back, but he's done very, very well there slotting in there, because Alan Keane has always gone past him.
Grecian takes a touch and lopes forward here for Derry. Sligo Rovers defensively very solid this season. They've only conceded 13 goals in the league. Deary, back to McCallion, who has to race back under pressure here from Aaron Green. All the way back to Gerard Doherty, who clears. Only as far as Danny Ventry. Ventry on the slide. 50-50 ball there. Referee takes no action against either player. Eamon Zaid, lovely little layoff to find Rory Higgins. Now Derry beginning to just try and move it up a gear, but Stephen McLaughlin checking inside. Between them, Kataro and Doe break up Derry's momentum. Again, Rory Higgins trying to thread it forward for McLaughlin. Now the ball over the top, looking for Owen Doyle, just lacking in support at the moment. They have to go it alone. Kirby's arriving. It's Owen Doyle. Owen Doyle for Sligo. Great save from Gerard Doherty. Although arguably, Owen Doyle should have found the net, but Doherty made an excellent save. And that was the opportunity for Sligo to extend their lead. But here comes Irla Davern. And the ball just wriggles away. Now Deary, this game beginning to open up here at the showgrounds. Brilliant first touch from McLaughlin to take Rotaro out of it. Stephen McLaughlin now running at Gavin Pearce, and away from Pearce. Stephen McLaughlin going it all the way, and he scored! What a terrific goal! Stephen McLaughlin has tied it up at 1 goal apiece, and it's all his own doing. Brilliant run from McLaughlin, and a quality finish at the end of it all. The Derry City supporters absolutely jubilant, and it's Sligo Rovers 1, Derry City 1.
Brilliant by Stephen McLaughlin. He's come inside. I think he's just got a little bit of luck there off McGuinness. Yeah, there it is. A little deflection has gone in, but he deserves it. I mean, he's that's just different class. He's come inside, he's done everything right, and he scored. And it all goes back to Doherty's save a while ago from Owen Doyle, which was very, very important, where he stood strong, and then McLaughlin goes up the other end, and he does marvellous, and a great goal and well deserved.
Well, he got his slice of fortune with the deflection, but Stephen McLaughlin, really, it was down to his hard work away from Kataro and Pearce, who had a little tug of the jersey as well. But it took that rather wicked deflection, and it's, well, all square once again at the showgrounds. 1 goal apiece. Owen Doyle, who had an opportunity to put Sligo 2 up. Here's Richie Ryan arriving right on cue. wide. Well, it took a deflection. Well, it's end-to-end stuff, as they say, Pat.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I mean, Richie Ryan is so upset with himself. I mean, he's probably shaking his head there because he's come through. Great little ball inside. He's come in, and it's fantastic tackle. I think it's Rory Higgins got in there, just got a little touch in it, because I think Richie Ryan was looking at the bottom right-hand corner.
And Doe to take the corner kick. McGuinness and Pearce up from the back. Good ball in there. Gavin Pearce with the header. It was a free one as well, because Ger Doherty was beaten all ends up. But Sligo, well, they've certainly had their chances.
Brilliant ball into the box again, and we always talk about Gavin Pearce. Back post. That's a great chance. Great chance.
Let's go down pitch side. John.
Well, Stephen, obviously that goal coming in a very opportune time for you.
Yeah, I think Sligo started better than us, for sure. But we kept the ball for periods. But it was important that we didn't concede that second goal, and then both goals have been deflected, in fact. So hopefully we can go in at least level at half time and then try and get stronger in the second half.
Okay, thank you, Stephen.
So just 2 minutes to go to half time. It's been a very entertaining game so far between these two. Owen Doyle. The bar line, decent ball in, but just a fraction too close to Ger Doherty. And the Derry City custodian came and collected. Well, the clearance from Doherty in the direction of Stephen McLaughlin, but McLaughlin is adjudged to have impeded Raf Kotaro. Free kick goes in favour of Sligo Rovers as McLaughlin gingerly gets back to his feet. Well, Doyle had a big chance just before the Derry equaliser.
Yeah, he's done really, really well. He's come inside, but like Doherty's done exceptionally well in goal. Look, he stood back and he's waiting to make the decision, and I mean, that's a great save. And here's the consequences of it. He's got a little tug. That's marvellous. I mean, okay, look, he gets a bit of luck. Deservedly so. Brilliant.
McGuinness finds Kirby. That little pocket of space faced by Stuart Grecian has been pulled out of the middle. Kirby will celebrate his 34th birthday next Thursday. Richie Ryan's early ball in, and it goes behind for a goal kick for Derry.
Not been a bad first half of football, really, has it? I mean, it's just been end-to-end stuff. Derry have come back into the game. We've asked them to get a bit of support to Zaid. That's happened with a lovely little finish, and I think there's more in it, because I think, Sligo are going to go in a bit disappointed, but I'm sure Paul Cook will rattle them, and definitely Derry are going to go in with their tails up, but there will be a few more goals in this game.
Doherty's a kick out in the direction of Lafferty, but it was rather misplaced clearance, a wayward one from Ger Doherty. But it's been a very good footballing contest between these two sides so far. Two sides that really put the emphasis on attacking football. Here's Danny Ventry. Over 100 appearances now for Sligo. And his 100th against Dundalk a few weeks ago. Barry Malloy, lovely ball trying to release Stephen McLaughlin, and the Derry City goal scorer does well to keep it in play, but Raf Kotaro does really well to just do enough to put the ball out of play. Lafferty, the receiver from the throw-in. McLaughlin under pressure from Joseph Doe. Kotaro to take this free kick for Sligo Rovers. Referee Dave McKeown isn't too happy, I think, about where the free kick has been taken from. He's certainly gesturing in the direction of Raf Kotaro. Just been somewhat fussy at the moment, but it's the referee's prerogative, I suppose. So the free kick will now be taken from the correct position by the Sligo Rovers goalkeeper, Brendan Clark. Well, it is half-time at the showgrounds here in Sligo. Very, very entertaining first half. And Joey Endo set the scoring in motion in spectacular fashion with a terrific strike from distance. Took a slight deflection en route, but Stephen McLaughlin with the equaliser for Derry City just before the interval, also benefiting from a slight deflection, but a terrifically well-taken goal. Half-time at the showgrounds in what's been a very absorbing game so far. It's Sligo Rovers 1, Derry City 1.
It took a while for the game to get going, but the managers were up for it right from the off. Then Joe and Doe conjured up some Cameroon magic. That was the first bit of deflected wizardry. Then a replica at the other end, another sleight of foot, means it's 1-1 at half-time. In the afternoon, it's an early kick-off. So, half-time at the Showgrounds. It's Sligo Rovers 1, Derry City 1. Is that scoreline, Kenny, a fair reflection of the first half?
Yeah, I think it is a fair reflection. Tactically, it was very interesting the first 15, 20 minutes of the game. Derry, by introducing that extra man in central midfield, as we thought, that's Barry Malloy, Rory Higgins and Kevin Deardy, three disciplined, defensively minded players, made it difficult for Sligo to get that kind of ascendancy in that area of the pitch. So for long periods of that first half, almost cancelled you out, and you were looking for a little bit of inspiration from one of the forward players on either side to break the deadlock, which is eventually what happened.
I suggested at the start, Richie, in my infinite wisdom, that it wouldn't be as flamboyant as the cup tie between them, which produced the 6 goals and the penalty shootout. Is that a fair comment? It hasn't been?
Yeah, you were right. We weren't going to get a penalty shootout, first of all. It's been a little disappointing. I take all Kenny's points. Tactically, it's been quite tight. But both teams are capable of playing very entertaining stuff, and that just neither had the opportunity to do so. 2 goals came from wonderful bit of skills from 2 individuals, but overall it was a bit scrappy for a lot. It came to life near the end, and there was opportunities to score. Decent enough game though so far.
I suppose the fact that it was played that way, it emphasises really what's at stake here, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean there's a huge amount at stake. On the one hand, you kind of compare how they're playing to other teams or to other performances, and see how the individuals are doing, but when there's so much at stake, they knew coming into this, particularly Sligo, we hammered home the point beforehand. Sligo lose this game, it's a huge blow for them, and Derry come into it quite kind of laid back, if Stephen Kenny can believe, but yeah, a lot at stake.
Okay, as you said, it required a little bit of magic, and more often than not, Joseph and Doe can conjure something up during the game, but this was deflected, wasn't it?
It was. We've seen, I mean, watching Joseph for years now, he's capable of doing this. He was quiet enough to begin with, but he just take a step, drop a shoulder. Higgins let him go a little bit easier. We can see here, it does take a deflection off McElhenney, and Doherty in goal, as you can see. He's just flat-footed, doesn't move at all. But he started the game on outside on the right, and Pat, I think, made the point in commentary. He's a little bit out of it, a little bit isolated, but because he's out there, he can drift in almost unnoticed. He was in that case. Good bit of skill.
Yeah, but of course, Kenny, you'd be concerned then about his defensive duties, wouldn't you, Joseph?
Yeah, I think so. I saw him playing this position away to St. Pat's earlier in the season. I was at the game with that. And yes, in possession of the ball, fantastic. But he's the type of player who wants to be on the ball all the time. And when he's isolated in a wide area of the pitch, tends to drift inside to receive the ball, which is understandable. Now, as an opposition player and as a left-back playing against him, I think that'd be an opportunity for me to get on the ball and get myself in advanced positions. And if I was Stephen Kenny in that dressing room at half-time, I was saying to Daniel Laverty, do your defensive work, but when we do get possession of the ball, look to run Joseph and Doe as far down the pitch as you can. And as that half progressed, Derry got more and more joy down that left-hand side of the pitch, not only with Steve McLaughlin in possession of the ball, but with Daniel Laverty on occasion getting himself up in advance in support of the left winger.
It's very difficult to get Joseph to defend over 90 minutes. I mean, he's very good. He wants the ball. Everywhere the ball is, he'll follow it, and he wants space, and he's good enough to do something when he gets it. But when it comes to tracking the opposition, he just doesn't want to do it, and he doesn't do it.
Yeah, I think when you have a right back who's an out-and-out a defensively minded right back, you can get away with it, because he'll say, off you go, George, do your stuff. I'm perfectly happy here in a 1v1 situation with the winger, because my strengths from a defensive point of view, that's Raf Kitaro, who I've seen predominantly play as a centre forward, playing the right back position, and he's got it all to do up against Steve McLaughlin. He's a very talented player.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see will Paul Cook tweak it at half time, but in the meantime, let's have a look at the Derry City goal. Again, a deflected shot, and this one took a proper deflection, didn't it?
It did. Raf Kitaro actually slips. It's a great play from Steve McLaughlin. Look at Jason McGuinness here, the left side of centre half, how deep he is when Steve McLaughlin cuts aside his left foot. When he shifts that ball, I'd expect me left side of centre half to be stepping up and clearing both the ball and the man. I think Gavin Pearce is in a difficult situation there. Steve McLaughlin's running at him in pace. Best he can do is maybe show him inside, and I think once he has that heavy touch, because it was a heavy touch, I'll be expecting my central defensive partner to be stepping up there and clearing the danger. I can understand why he stepped. He was worried about Eamon Zayed and maybe him squaring that ball, but first and foremost, the first danger is the man in possession of the ball, and I just think he took the wrong decision there. Rather than take a step back and be worried about the ball to Eamon, maybe should have taken a step closer to his defensive partner and given him a little bit more cover.
OK, so half-time at the Showgrounds. It's Sligo Rovers 1, Derry City 1. We hope to have more analysis after the break, then the start of the second half. So do stay with us.
1,000 pioneers will step into the unknown. And a new culinary star will be born. A title that could change someone's life. RTE2 is bringing the biggest food show on earth to Ireland. MasterChef Ireland. Tuesday and Thursday at 9:30 on RTE2. Follow their journey on Facebook, Twitter and Radio 1.
KBC Bank Ireland has a range of fixed-term deposit accounts. Our 18-month account offers 6% gross, that's 3.95% AER, and the flexibility to access up to 25% of your savings during the term. Call our deposit team on 1800 51 52 53 or visit kbc.ie. It makes sense to be with KBC.
We're having a knock around out here, do you mind?
Hello, how are things?
Hello, nice to meet you.
Are we going for a kickabout?
Yeah. I picked Johnny. Alice.
Oh, we have Alice.
Cross father.
That one. Oh, yes, footwork. That was great crack off the other. Thanks, lads.
Same time next week.
Show us how you're supporting the team, and you could play them next.
Epic victories, avenged defeats. Together, we've seen them all. Scars, cuts and bruises, we've had our fair share. Stirring battle cries, pre-game speeches, rapturous applause, and the World Cup. We've been as close as it gets.
This weekend, follow the Rugby World Cup alongside those who know it best, with Fitzpatrick, O'Reilly, Barnes, Jones and Walsh exclusively in the Sunday Times free Ultimate Guide. The Sunday Times is the Sunday papers.
Baby, you don't know how much that I wanna go with you all the time inside my dirty mind. Yeah, you and me, I know it's crazy, can get you out my
Deep River Rock, sourced in Ireland.
Scotland might surprise you. You don't have to join a club here, just bring a club. But don't bother bringing binoculars. And can you honestly think of a better place to have a wee nightcap before you turn in? So this year, surprise yourself. Visit Scotland.
You see, this guy's in love with you. Yes, I'm in love. Who looks at you?
From only €15,990. Renault Fluence. Redefine standards.
And you're very welcome back. Got some breaking news for you from the Republic of Ireland international squad. And unfortunately, Shane Long, it looks like he won't be travelling with the squad for that Russia game. He's been sent back to his club for treatment on that calf injury he picked up in training during the week. So it looks like no Shane Long for the Russia game on Tuesday. OK, let's get back to our Electricity League Premier Division game. All important. At the showgrounds, it's currently Sligo Rovers 1, Derry City 1. Now, Owen Doyle, his pace seemed to be causing trouble for that Derry City defence in the first half, Kenny.
Yeah, not just his pace, his movement. Look at this ball, Rafa Guittaro over the top. Excellent movement, feigns to come in front and then spins in behind, gets his head up, almost picks out Aaron Green inside the 6-yard box. Now, this is just a hoof clearance high up the pitch, but again, look at almost a bit of panic in the Derry defenders heading back towards their own goal. Both collide. Again, Owen Doyle is the nearest person to the ball, but it's his quality of his movements, not just his pace, Peter. Again, straight ball, almost gets in behind Stuart Greason. That's good defending, but he's really stretching there, it really is. And again, that diagonal run in behind Shane McEnany, gets himself 1v1 with Stuart Greason. Good feet here, look, well balanced, gets his head up. It's a decent save from Jared Doherty. And that's a real concern for Stephen Kenny. I think if I was him in the dressing room, I'd be saying to me 2 centre-halves, look, if any of those Sligo Rovers midfield players getting possession of the ball, particularly Richie Ryan, and there's grass in behind, take a step back. If Owen Doyle drops short and receives with the feet, that's fine. He's still got to beat our defensive line, but don't look to gamble in front and get done in behind, because this player has got good enough mobility and good enough movement to expose us.
Yeah, so there's no reason for Paul Cook to change that approach, but is there any possibility he might push somebody a little bit further forward to give Doyle a little bit more support? Because really, we said at the top of the programme, Richie, that 3 points is important for Sligo.
It's massively important. I don't think you should change all too much at the moment. I mean, the biggest difference at the moment, you come into the game today, the country's 2 top scorers are leading each side's attack. At the moment, Doyle looks far superior. Kenny talking about his movement, his willingness to run and close down defenders, and his ability on the ball. That's just not on show from Zaid so far.
OK, they're almost ready to go in Sligo, so let's rejoin our match commentators, Pat Morley and Adrian Eames.
Thanks very much, Peter. Just scanning around to have a look at the two teams. Doesn't appear to be any changes. Interestingly, mind you, for Sligo Rovers, their goalkeeper Brendan Clark was out a good 5 minutes, Pat, before the rest of his teammates. Interesting.
Yeah, he was out. Sorry, it looked as if he was out just marking his pitch, but again, the goalkeepers union are sort of a weird bunch anyway, Adrian, at the best of times. But he was out I think he was just marking his goal and just getting the bearings of where he was and all that type of stuff. But it was a bit strange, 5 minutes before the rest of his teammates.
Well, it's Derry to get us underway in this second half, playing from left to right. The match finely balanced at the moment, 1 apiece. Joey and Doe, the score for Sligo in the 15th minute, and just before the interval, Stephen McLaughlin cancelling out that goal for Doe. 1 goal apiece. Just checking that everything is in order. 2 sets of supporters and 2 teams who desperately want to win the league. Sligo haven't won it since Easter Sunday 1977, when they came from behind here to beat Shamrock Rovers. The showgrounds absolutely throbbing that day. Derry, for their part, haven't won the league since 1997 under Felix Healy. So it's been a long wait for both sets of supporters. Will 2011 see the League of Ireland trophy resting in either Sligo or indeed Derry? Shamrock Rovers remain the favourites despite their fixture pile-up because of their European exploits, which is one of the great news stories for Irish football this year. But it is going to take its toll on Shamrock Rovers, and certainly Paul Cook and Stephen Kenny will be hoping they can capitalise. That Paul Cook was saying that Sligo, after their European adventure against Vorskla Poltava, were a bit leggy, and as a result performance levels dipped. And that's the price perhaps you pay when you have European football. Right now it's all about the bread and butter issue of the Airtricity League. Ventry for Sligo, back to Cretaro. Gavin Pears on his way through to Aaron Green, tried to feed it through for the onrushing Owen Doyle. McElhaney has sliced that ball out of play. Paul Cook will have been rocked by that Derry equaliser just before half-time, but he's had plenty of time to get his message across to the troops during the 15-minute interval. Davern with a throw-in for Richie Ryan. Derry snapping at his heels. Here's Gavin Pears. Looks up and floats it forward now, looking for Joseph and Doe will have to chase some to get there. Cameroon man gets there, looks up to see what's on, his attempted cross takes a deflection, out for a corner kick. Lafferty the defender.
Marvellous ball. I mean, Joe and Doe's, he's got to it because that's the Pears ball. I mean, it's a great little ball over the back 4, and Joe and Doe's busted the gut to get there. And unfortunately, at the end of it, I mean, he's done everything correct. And it's good defending. I mean, he's put his hands behind his back as well, not to give away a stupid penalty. But again, it's the danger time for Derry just after half time. Sligo with a corner kick.
There's Jason McGuinness inside the penalty area. Gavin Pears also there too. Pears being picked up by McElhaney. Grecian on his man, and the ball had gone out of play from Joey and Doe's delivery. As he has swung it in, Jason McGuinness just retreating to his central defensive station.
Yeah, I think McGuinness he's just giving Grecian just a little nudge on the back, and I mean, there it is again. It's just a little nudge. There you go. Nothing. I think it was the one in front was the infringement, so McGuinness was penalised for something he didn't do.
Well, Doherty preparing to take the kick out. Former TNS goalkeeper looking for Eamon Zaid, but one in the air by Gavin Pears off Malloy. And Eddie McCallion dinking it forward, but that's well read by Richie Ryan. Davern for Kirby and off the body of Malloy, and out for a Sligo throw-in. Richie Ryan feeds it back to Jason McGuinness. Sligo Rovers have lost 6 league games this season. When you contrast that with Derry City, who've only lost 3 times, it tells you something. Here's Joey Endo trying to weave his magic down Sligo's right-hand flank. Lafferty plays it off Endo and behind for a goal kick. Good defending from the left back. Lafferty, who had a stint at Celtic, it didn't quite work out for him. But he's a local lad and back in Derry. It's beginning to drizzle again here at the showgrounds. I have to say though, Pat, the playing surface is absolutely superb here.
Marvellous. We were up here a couple of weeks ago as well, and it was marvellous. And when you look at the European tie as well, they had the length in the pitch, and they've done that marvellously well as well. And hasn't affected the playing surface at all. And even during the half-time break, they were out with pitchforks and sand and a bit of seed to put back into the ground. So they're doing a marvellous job here.
Well, now it's getting a bit of watering from the rain that's falling. It is a light but persistent drizzle at the moment. Eamon Zaid trying to squeeze between Jason McGuinness and Gavin Pearce. McGuinness lays it forward off the body of Malloy, breaks to Richie Ryan. Room for Richie Ryan to surge into. Richie Ryan has an attempt at goal off Shane McElhaney, only as far as Ryan. Feeds it wide now for Irla Davern. Slides it down the line looking for Irla Davern, who was rather caught on his heels, and Eddie McCallion slid in to put it behind for a corner kick. And well, we know how dangerous Sligo are from corner kicks, and they have another one.
Yeah, again, McCallion has done very, very well here, but the concern I would have had was the length of space that Richie Ryan was able to run without getting a challenge, and the back four backed off too much, and only for a bad strike could have been a lot more dangerous.
Well, here comes the Sligo corner to be taken by Joseph Endo. Jason McGuinness making a run at the near post, but was away by Patrick McElhaney. Endo once again. Endo. Still Joey Endo, drills it across the face of goal, breaks to Irla Davern. His effort is blocked down by Rory Higgins, who got out very quickly. Here's Raf Kataro. A real pep about Sligo in the opening skirmishes of the second half, but that's rather wasteful from Kataro.
You'd be disappointed with that because they had a little chance again there, Sligo. Again, it's a bit of magic from Joe Endo. He just stops, and it's just that little injection of pace that he just takes him away from any bit of trouble. There's a chance of Davern. It's a good first touch with a snappy shot and as well defended by Derry.
Doherty to take the kick out. Paul Cook was suggesting a draw wouldn't be the worst result ever. He has a theory that 20 more points for Sligo could well be enough to win the league, making the point that Shamrock Rovers won the league with some 67 points last season. Sligo will surpass that if they could bag 20, but undoubtedly he would dearly love to win here, which would set up a fascinating showdown between Sligo and Shamrock Rovers at Tallaght Stadium next weekend. Derry, of course, firmly in the mix. They too have to face Shamrock Rovers in a few weeks' time. Ritaro stroking it into the path of Jason McGuinness. Davern. Endo, or rather Kirby. Davern. Clipping it forward. Aaron Green trying to apply the pressure, but Grecian sees it behind for the goal kick. It's been a bit of a scrappy start to the second half.
I think with regards to your theory, Adrian, about whether these two teams can win the league, I mean, when you look at what the lads were saying at half-time as well, you know, Rovers going into the Europa League situation, we don't know how that's going to affect them either. So if I'm a Sligo Rovers player or a Derry City player, I'd be saying to myself, let's try and go and win every game we can and see what happens from there, because Shamrock Rovers are going to have an awful lot of games to play between here and the end of the season.
Stephen Kenny will be absolutely delighted with the way his side struck back before half-time. And it's Sligo who are compressing Derry inside their own half early in the second half here. Forward from Patrick McElhaney. McGuinness hooks it back into Derry territory. Zaid. Davern. And Kirby. And the touch from Kirby. Well, he made amends for it, but while Sligo under the cosh here. Patrick McElhaney. A teasing ball in, but that was straight to Jason McGuinness. Poor ball really from McElhaney. Here's Kirby. Turning away from McCallion, back to Richie Ryan. Owen Doyle making a run further forward in between Shane McElhaney and Stuart Grecian. Kirby clipping it forward, and it's a really clever ball as well. Darren's cross finds Owen Doyle. Poor touch though from Owen Doyle. He needed to kill it instantly. Failed to do so. And Gavin Pearce with a thunderous header. Away for Sligo. Stephen McLaughlin, the Derry City goal scorer, did well to just keep the ball in play. Hooped it downfield. Pearce back to his goalkeeper Brendan Clark. McGuinness. The man they call Jay, sliding it forward to Kirby. Great technique from Kirby. Richie Ryan, though the ball just ran away from him. Malloy was there. And the challenge coming in, free kick awarded by the referee. Patrick McElhaney has stayed down here.
Yeah, I just think
Kevin Derry.
It's just an awkward fall. I mean, you know, Kirby's not a nasty player in any way or form, and he's just gone in for the tackle, and it's not been a bad game in that way. So it's, you know, there's been a few tackles. And in fairness to the referee, Dave McKeowney just told him to calm it down a wee bit, lads. There's no need for me to give him cards.
Well, Derry tried to take the free kick quickly. It didn't quite work out for Derry City. Here's that Sligo opportunity a few moments ago.
Yeah, it's a fabulous ball by Erla Darvin into the back post, and Doyle has done really well. He's peeled away, but his first touch is poor. I think he just lost the flight and just didn't judge it correctly, because he had a chance. He'd done everything else correct.
Joey Doe, the target from the clearance from Brendan Clark. It runs through to Owen Doyle with Cretaro arriving. Back to Danny Ventry. Ventry with plenty of time to deliver the cross, looking for Aaron Green. Gerard Doherty, very commanding goalkeeper. He got a fist to it. Sure, Grecian has stayed down. At the other end, McGuinness into the path of Richie Ryan. And now the referee has just whistled up play so that Grecian can be tended to if required. But he was the meat of the sandwich there.
Yeah, I mean, the keeper's come out and he said, I'm going to take everybody, and he's got his own man there, and, you know, in fairness to Doherty, he's come out and he's done the right thing, and Grecian has got the elbow of it, and the referee has done really well to stop it, because it could have been a nasty injury, and the referee had to call it, but he's none the worse from it.
And Kevin Derry returns the compliment. The ball slices out of play for a throw-in to Sligo Rovers, and I think Derry acknowledges the error of his ways.
They're not too happy with that, is it? It's like kick for the corner, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
O'Gara will be happy with that one.
Exactly, time for a line out. And Davern back to his goalkeeper Brendan Clark, and Derry weren't going to apply pressure on Sligo and do the ungentlemanly thing. Again, seeking out Joey and Doe. Brilliantly wins it in the air, flicking it on in the direction of Owen Doyle. And Doe, judged to have fouled his man. And a free kick awarded to Derry City. Joey and Doe protesting in the direction of Damien McGrath.
Yeah, he's a bit frustrated at me, but he's raising the leg, and that's why he's given the free against him. And then a little bit of handball as well after it. So,
for good measure, yeah.
Look, he's raised the leg, and that's a free kick, unfortunately.
That is a tough old battle for Daniel Lafferty, but he's acquitted himself pretty well so far. Cretaro. Pearce. Booming it forward, but well read by Shane McElhaney. Almost caught in possession by Aaron Green. Forward from Patrick McElhaney, but rather telegraphed that one. And Jason McGuinness, well, his dander is up at the moment. Joey and Doe trying to give his man the slip, and he was just checked as he tried to make progress. The referee is going to take action here, and there's a yellow card for Lafferty.
I mean, he's a small bit unlucky. I mean, in those, look, he's a tricky customer, and I'm sure Lafferty, when he finishes today, will know he's been in a game. But, you know, as you say, he's equipped himself very, very well. And he just needs to be on his guard now, because I think Paul Cook will say, get more to Joe and Doe, because the lad's on the yellow card.
Sligo Rovers supporters just trying to lift their team here. Joseph and Doe over the free kick. 13th minute of the second half. And Doe's goal in the first half giving Sligo an advantage, which they held till just before half-time, and Stephen McLaughlin with the equaliser. And Doe's delivery looking for Pearce. Doherty came from his line, no free kick, and the ball is just cleared away in the end. But Gerard Doherty, I think he thought he should have had a decision. A bemused smile from the Derry City goalkeeper.
He's done well, but it's a marvellous ball. And again, I mean, look, it's travelling, it's great pace. I mean, the length of that, Pearce has got in, and you know, that's very, very well done by Doherty. And it's not a free kick. I mean, Pearce has gone in, he hasn't touched him, in fairness to the lad, and Doherty just lost control of the ball, and it was very difficult for him to catch it, because it was such a marvellous ball in the box again.
The Sligo Rovers supporters feel that Doherty is guilty of some time wasting here, not getting on with the goal kick as quickly as they'd like, and eventually he launches it downfield. Gritaro got there ahead of Zaid, forward from Derry. Gritaro has to try and get a touch to it, which he does. Sligo all at sea here. Clark comes, he hasn't dealt with it. Eamon Zaid, Piers on the line, and Piers and Sligo eventually managed to scramble it away. But that was rather chaotic defending from Sligo.
Brent, you don't want to pick it out. I mean, Piers has done really, really well, but the ball has bounced in the box, and Brendan Clark has just hesitated, and then has come late, and then he's lost the ball to Zaid, and only that Piers is there as a goal. I mean, you've seen it coming in. He's got to come out and be he's the main man there. He's got the hands. He's got to demand that. And they're very, very lucky to get away with that there.
Great position taken by Gavin Piers to be on the line to execute the clearance, but Sligo just looking all over the shop on that occasion. There's Joey Endo back doing some of his defensive duties. Clark with the angled clearance looking for Kirby. Davern under pressure from Derry. Last touch came off the Derry man. McGuinness back with Brendan Clark, who takes a touch before clearing. Lafferty, time to control it. Malloy allowed the ball to just run away from him. Here's Gritaro looking for Endo, but well read by Lafferty, who nipped in there. Derry supporters in great voice at the moment. Rory Higgins with the layoff for Malloy. Now it's Derry's turn to try and pile on the pressure here. At McElhaney trying to get the measure of Irla Davern. And Davern doing particularly well to engineer the throw-in for his team. Like Sligo will make a change very shortly. More on that anon. Alan Kane may be about to make his long-awaited return. Derry with the ball though for Derry, for Higgins. McLaughlin. And for Lafferty, sold him short now. Can Sligo counter-attack at pace? They can when Raf Gritaro is in possession. Plays it forward now for Joseph Endo. Green arriving inside the penalty area. So Kirby as well. And Owen Doyle is also there. And in the end, while Sligo failed to make the most of that opportunity, Endo just slowing it down. And the opportunity is wasted for Sligo.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a bit silly, and that's a stupid free kick then to give away when they're on the attack.
Well, here's the change. And Alan Kane is coming on, and Alan Kirby is the player to make way. And a great ovation for Alan Kane, who was so unfortunate to miss out on the second leg of the Europa League tie against Vorskla Poltava, injuring a quad muscle in training just hours before the game. And he's back.
Well, it's very interesting. I mean, Kirby has just Alan Kane has just slotted into right full back straight away. Gritaro looks like he's just gone up front to play with Owen Doyle up front. I would have thought that it might have let Gritaro outside right and bring Endo into the middle and leave him get a bit more freedom. But it looks like Gritaro is sort of slotting in behind Owen Doyle up front.
Endo. Ventry. Pings it out to this near side for Irla Davern. Davern away from Patrick McElhaney. Now Richie Ryan. Gritaro picking up a rather central midfield position. Sligo force back Piers, and Brendan Clark knocks it out to Jason McGuinness. There's a decent shape about Derry City. You have to give them enormous credit when you consider that the bulk of the team, in fact all bar the likes of Zayed and Grecian, local players. Oh, what an effort that was. Aaron Green, well, he scored 2 during the week in the FAI Cup replay against Monaghan. He scored on the opening night of the season, his only league goal against Derry, and he was close to grabbing his second league goal here.
Yeah, again a great bit of skill, but he's just been left go too easy. I mean, there's been no tackleman. He's come inside. The strike is very, very poor in the end. I mean, the technique is poor. The strike is poor. I mean, it's there, but it's not on target, and he's just left go too easy though from a Derry standpoint.
McGuinness with a booming header to find Owen Doyle. It's been a difficult afternoon so far for Owen Doyle. Cretaro playing it wide for Joseph Ndo, faced by the youngster Stephen McLaughlin, just 19 years of age. Ndo's attempt to cross, blocked away by Shane McElhaney. Ball out of play, Sligo have the throw in.
What you're going to see though now from Sligo with Alan Keane coming on is that he's going to be bombing outside right all day long.
Cretaro just tried to let the ball run across his body. Zaid back very deep, 9 deep for Derry. Lafferty clips it forward. Now Rory Higgins. And here's Eddie McCallion getting forward now for Derry City. And Patrick McElhaney in a wide position. This is McElhaney. Delivers the cross and Clark down to gather. Just too close to the goalkeeper from the cross from Patrick McElhaney.
Again, McCallion's left go an awful long way here without being challenged. I mean, he's come from his own half and no one has gone near him. It's everybody standing off, and if you're looking at a right full back to that, if he'd have striken him, he would have had a pot of goal, but in the end, it's no danger.
Cretaro. Ventry wants it and receives. Alan Kane getting forward. This is Ndo. And Cretaro. Now Raf Cretaro. Just forced to play it wide for Danny Ventry. Ventry's attempt to cross almost fell for Raf Cretaro, who is winding up for a spectacular one. Ndo. Here's. Now Jason McGuinness. Derry just penned back at the moment here by Sligo. McGuinness looking for Raf Cretaro. Ball just caught between his feet. Rory Higgins. As the Derry City supporters sing the praises of Mark Farren. They want to see him coming on. Lifted forward now by Rory Higgins, looking for Patrick McElhaney. Erla Davern just rolls it back to his goalkeeper, and Brendan Clark has plenty of time to clear his lines. Flicked on by Aaron Green, looking for Owen Doyle, trying to get away from Grecian. Shane McElhaney is across from his central defensive position to clear. Richie Ryan under pressure from Rory Higgins, who he's gifted it straight to Eamon Zaid. And Zaid now has picked out the run here, Stephen McLaughlin. McLaughlin has a lot of work to do. Lafferty getting forward in support though, making the overlapping run. Keane got across to get in the challenge, and that is going to be a goal kick to Sligo. Brilliant defending from Alan Keane.
Yeah, how good was that tackle? I mean, again, he saw the ball was late and he went over and he made a fantastic tackle, and it's like, welcome back.
Well, just a little shy of the midpoint in the second half. And it looks like Sligo are making another change. Well, in fact, Derry are going to make a change, and it is a big moment because Mark Farren is coming on. And Patrick McElhaney is the player who is going off. Well, isn't it great to see Mark Farren back? Diagnosed with a benign brain tumour, forced to retire. He scored the goal against Monaghan that sealed promotion. Something of a Derry legend when he was forced to announce his retirement, but he's now been given the all clear to return. He has to play with the benefit of a skull cap. Sligo making the change now, and John Russell is the player who's been introduced, and Raf Cretaro is going off. So Russell for Cretaro, and Patrick McElhaney gone off the Derry side, replaced by Mark Farren. Great to see Mark Farren back playing football.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, when you think what he's gone through and to see him come back like this is absolutely marvellous. It's great for Derry City football, and it's also great for League of Ireland football to see something like that happen. And you know, the lad has got an awful lot of goals from Derry, and he's not far off. Another great player up there, Liam Coyle's record. So fantastic to see him back, and well done.
Yeah, Coyle has the record, 112, but Farren on 107. He clearly has that in his sights. He is a poacher supreme. Just 29 years of age now, from Greencastle in County Donegal, as Clark booms that one into the afternoon sky. Derry on the stretch with Erla Davern. Ball just breaks for McCallion. Cushioned header from Jason McGuinness for Richie Ryan, immediately under pressure from Kevin Derry. Handball the decision against Derry. Sligo as ever getting on with it quickly.
Yes, and I mean, again, you know, it's the commitment. He's going in, and he's obviously raised his hands, and it is a free kick. But you can see Derry are trying to up the tempo again.
Grecian. Russell trying to get there first. That's rather loose from Barry Malloy. Joey and Doe trying to capitalise, but Lafferty won the race for possession and has managed to fashion a throw-in for Derry City. Well, while Sligo Rovers have that trip to Tala next weekend, Derry have back-to-back games which they'll fancy taking maximum points from. Home to UCD and Drogheda United. Final round of matches, of course, starting this weekend. And the way things are shaping, we're in for a really gripping conclusion to the Airtricity season. It looks like Derry have a problem here because Lafferty is down cramping. It's Joseph Endo who's tending to him. Well, Paul Cook patrolling the touchline. Let's go down pitch side once again. John Kenny is with his namesake Stephen Kenny.
Yeah, Stephen Kenny. Mark Farron's on. Great to see him back, but obviously you pushed him up front with along with Eamon Side.
Yeah, I think we're losing the initiative in the game. We need to be more of an attacking threat ourselves. You know, I think with Eamon and Mark, they're very potent attacks, so we've got good options there. So we have to utilise them. We have to be a bit better than we have been. Sligo have the upper hand, and we need to. You know, we look dangerous on the counter attack once or twice, but not enough in the game. You know, so hopefully we can get a bit more impetus now with Mark coming on with Eamon and see how we go.
All right, thank you, Stephen.
Well, Lafferty is well, he'll pick himself up, I'm sure, in just a few moments. But he's had the required treatment. He's getting too much sympathy from the Sligo Rovers supporters who perhaps feel it's maybe very guilty of some time wasting, but he clearly has a problem at the moment, and Lafferty has well, got the treatment required. Pearce for Alan Keane. Now Endo. Joey Endo. Derry just backing off Joseph Endo. McLaughlin back doing a spot of defending for Derry City. Still Joey Endo. Good work from the Cameroon man, delivers the cross, but it sails into the arms of Gerard Hardy.
It's effortless, Adrian. You know, you think he's had to put himself into a little spot of bother over there, and then there's a little touch and a burst of speed, and he's gone. And again, you know, I just keep not to reiterate, but I just like to see him in the middle of the park a bit more, because I think he's just a small bit wasted out there. I mean, again, look, it's a lovely bit of skill. Looks as if he's gone, and then a little touch and a burst of pace, little nick, and he's through.
McLaughlin. Forward from Lafferty. Well, you could see what he was trying to do, trying to just bend it in behind the Sligo cover and hope that Eamon Zaid would get on the end of it. Touch came off McCallion. Aaron Green with the throw in. Davern onto it. Free kick awarded to Sligo Rovers. It's sloppy defending from Derry.
It's silly. I mean, it's a needless free kick out there, because McCallion was there to cover off and the ball had been lost. And again, it just puts your back four under a bit of pressure. And with the quality this boy delivers into the box, you know, you're always going to have a few problems. So they need to be able to be well aware, but from a silly free kick that was given away.
This boy is Joseph Endo, architect in chief as far as Sligo are concerned. Jason McGuinness inside the Derry penalty area. Stuart Grecian keeping a close eye. Piers is there, being watched by Shane McElhaney. Now, what can Sligo and Joey Endo conjure up here? Endo having a look to see what's on. Slides it straight to Irla Davern off the body of McCallion. Wasted set piece, but Richie Ryan delivers a terrific ball to find Joey Endo. Endo for Sligo. Manages to dink in the cross, and the referee whistles, spotting an infringement inside the Derry City penalty area, and it all comes to naught for Sligo.
Yeah, again, a surprise in the first free kick when he put it wide, but the second bit of skill here is marvellous. Again, a lovely little ball in, and O'Donnell is just getting a little shove on the back there, and silly, again, just a silly free kick. I mean, they've got to deal with that in a 6-yard box, and you're pushing the defender. You shouldn't do it in there. Make him get away with it.
Straight to Davern from the kick out by Ger Doherty. Stuart Grecian has the measure of Owen Doyle. Jason McGuinness managed to guide the ball into the path of Gavin Pearce, who lifts it forward now looking for Owen Doyle. McElhaney knocks the ball out of play. Good spell this for Sligo Rovers. Without seriously working the Derry City goalkeeper Ger Doherty. Perhaps now with Joey Ndo. Now the tireless John Russell. Mind you, he's only on the field of play a few minutes. Russell trying to weave his way through it. Breaks to Ndo. Sets it up for Alan Kane. Kane going for it, but never really got a hold of that one. And well, it just trickled into the hands of Ger Doherty.
No, but the pressure you can see is starting to lift up. I mean, Alan Kane's done very, very well. He's pulled inside, but it's on his weaker left foot, and it's easy for the keeper.
No problems whatsoever for Ger Doherty. It is a Derry side, of course, who've lost James McLean, but doesn't seem to be bothering them too much. Mark Farn, well, the offside flag is raised against Farn. He had a look across the line and is just trying to check his run, stay onside. And Doe with the flick on for Owen Doyle, lifting it over McElhaney. Really doing himself too much favours. McElhaney got into a real knock there. Owen Doyle goes down. Sligo looking for a penalty kick, and the referee, Dave McKeown, unimpressed.
Well, it's an interesting one, because if he has gone down, it should be in a card. And you know, I mean, look at it here. He's gone inside. There's the pull. If that's a dive, it's a yellow card. If it's not a dive, it's a penalty. To me, it looks very, very soft. You know, he's got a little tug there. Seen them given. I mean, he's coming. There you go. He's killing Nick. There's a little tug, nothing in it. Not a penalty for me, so he should have been carded.
Here's Erla Davern for Sligo, who have rather taken a stranglehold on the game, but he certainly wouldn't rule out Derry nicking a winner either. Richie Ryan quickly closed down. Danny Ventry on the slide along with Rory Higgins. Ryan prods it back to Erla Davern. Now Jason McGuinness, Eamon Zaid trying to make life difficult. Here's Aaron Green, a little nutmeg on McCallion, and he's been caught, and the referee will brandish a yellow card here for McCallion. He knew he was in bother and he took the man out, and no doubting the decision, second Derry City player to be carded.
Gone. So, yellow card.
Well, it's a Sligo set piece once again, and Joey Ndo is coming out, but I think Richie Ryan may fancy delivering this one. We shall see. Ndo tends to take command of situations like this, and indeed he does again. Doyle inside the penalty area, so too McGuinness. And Gavin Pearce, who's underneath this one, but he lost out in the aerial duel with McElhaney. Mark Farn trying to outmaneuver Alan Keane. Ventry, all a bit untidy, but Sligo have possession back. Stephen Kenny in the Derry dugout, not too happy. Keane sliding forward, and the ball took a nick off Lafferty and out of play for a Sligo throw-in. Sligo looking for the lead goal here. Russell. Breaks to Joey Ndo. Now Richie Ryan, now Russell. Lays it wide now for Davern. Russell was caught as he made contact with the ball, and it's going to be a free kick to Sligo Rovers in a pretty central position as well.
Yeah, and again, it's just a silly free kick in a very, very dangerous area. And you look at it where they are. I mean, he's come inside Russell, and here it is. There's the challenge from behind, and again, you should not do that. What is it? 21, 22 yards out from goal, and give him an opportunity to have a shot on target. And Richie Ryan's going to fancy his chances here.
Yeah, Richie Ryan can fairly hit him, as they say. Derry getting their wall in shape. Eamon Zaid is amongst those in that Derry wall. Referee is making sure that Derry are back the required distance. Sligo players on either end of the wall, and it's Richie Ryan perhaps to crack it. No, and that's wow, what a wasted opportunity. That's a training ground routine that didn't quite come off on match day.
Again, I mean, when they come off, they're great, but that's a chance for having a thing 22 yards out, have a go.
Aaron Green twisting and turning. In the end, the challenge comes in, and the ball goes out of play. Okay, let's go down pitch side once again. John Kenny is with Jerry Carr, the Sligo assistant.
Yes, 12 minutes to go, Jerry. What's the thinking?
We're just going to try and be positive as we've tried to be all game and try and win the game. You know, we've had a fair bit of possession. Derry have, since they scored, they seem to, just as we speak now, they're on the attack again. You know, I think they'd be happy to head off with a point, to be honest with you, but we're going to keep trying to get the winner. So we've made a couple of changes in that regard, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, thanks, Jerry.
Rory Higgins looking for Zaid and finding Zaid. He made it stick. Eamon Zaid, though, being forced away from goal. Higgins trying to find Malloy. All breaks down for Derry. Forward from Aaron Green to Owen Doyle. Had his heels clipped, or had he? And the referee has awarded. He just allowed time to roll on and see if the advantage would accrue for Sligo before whistling it back.
Yeah, he's done well there, Dave McKeown, because I mean, again, you know, they had the advantage and it got two little nicks, so he had a chance. And in fairness to him, he called it back then for the free kick, which normally doesn't happen. So well played there, Dave McKeown.
Ryan playing it out to the right to Alan Keane now. Joseph Endo. Endo. Still Joseph Endo. Works it on to his right. Keane. Will he get there? No is the answer. The flag is raised. It's going to be a goal kick. Well, you can see what Joey Endo, the provider supreme, just carving open the Derry defence, sliding it through for Alan Keane, who got forward.
Yeah, and again, Alan Keane was looking at that and he was sort of saying that it wasn't out, and from here it didn't look like it was out either. But again, it was marvellous bit of play by Joey Endo.
Sligo making another change here, and Danny Ventry is going off, and Matthew Blinkhorn is on for the final 10 minutes here at the showground. So Blinkhorn on, and Ventry, the player who's gone off. Matthew Blinkhorn, who scored 7 league goals this season, and Derry making changes. Eamon Zaid is going off, and Rory Harkin is coming on for the remaining few minutes here at the showgrounds. With this game very much in the balance, 1 goal apiece, with Sligo making much of the running in the second period without really ever opening up the Derry City rearguard. Owen Doyle sliding in, Richie Ryan giving his teammate a bit of a dig out. Here's John Russell playing it forward now, looking for Aaron Green. Grecian is across, and that's really decisive defending from Stuart Grecian. Derry manages to play it downfield only as far as Jason McGuinness, who knocks the ball out of play. McGuinness. Well, the table as it stands at the moment, a point apiece for these two sides. So Derry would move on to 55 points. One ahead of Shamrock Rovers, who take on Dundalk at 5:30 at Oriel Park, and Sligo Rovers would remain in third position. That's as things stand. It really is very tight, Pat, isn't it?
It is very tight, but there's a long way to go. I mean, you know, both managers, I'm sure they won't be disappointed to get a point each, but you know, listening to what Jerry Carr said, I think Sligo will really want to try and get the 3 here, because it's you know, they've had the bones of the play and they just haven't converted.
Dameron's throw in gets the return of Richie Ryan. Ryan, terrific ball from Richie Ryan, a raking crossfield ball to pick out Joseph Endo. Sligo trying to find that second goal, which could prove to be decisive. Gavin Pearce controls. Sun is out of the showgrounds. Very bright evening now. Great stuff from Joseph Endo. What an entertainer. Doyle couldn't get it under control. Here's Aaron Green for Sligo. Derry with a wall of players inside their penalty area at the moment. Russell gets in a shot off the body of Stuart Grecian. Still John Russell working hard for Sligo. Does well to play it out wide now for Joseph Endo. Is there going to be an end product for Sligo Rovers here? Endo trying the clever one with Lafferty. Endo gets the return from Russell. Russell to deliver the cross, low ball in, and it's Barry Malloy who's back there to clear the lines for Derry City. And Gavin Pearce is happy to see the ball out of play. Here's McGuinness. Derry defending deep inside their own half at this late stage of the game. Here's Rory Harkin. Harkin now looking up to his left to see that McLaughlin is breaking left. And instead comes across field to Derry. Now Malloy. Met it first time. What a terrific ball that is. if McLaughlin can keep it in play, which he manages to do, and manages to deliver a pretty inviting cross, albeit rather deep in the end, and it goes behind in the end for a goal kick to Sligo Rovers. But that's once again evidence of Derry City and how quickly they can break.
Yeah, well, especially, I mean, McGuinness was drawn out because he had to come out to win a ball, and he took it on, and unfortunately he lost possession. I mean, there's the chance of John Russell. It's hit Grecian in just underneath the arm, and you know, some people might say that's try to call for a penalty kick, but no chance.
Here's Blinkhorn to find Aaron Green. Green's attempt across is poor, and that's disappointing. Aaron Green, well, you would be looking for an end quality ball, a product not quite coming off for Sligo.
Well, it's poor, and even if you look at his whole demeanour there, Aaron Green, when he got the ball, Blinkhorn with a great header knocked it down. When Aaron Green went outside his man, he never even looked up, never raised his head, and it was just like one of these balls, let's hope it goes in there and there's someone in, and he never even looked where Owen Doyle was, and he was after making a great run to the front post.
Derry with the flick on. Gavin Pearce nods back to his goalkeeper. And if it stays like this, the happiest team of all will be Shamrock Rovers as they head to Dundalk. Clark's clearance. Blinkhorn rising just a fraction early. Here's Ryan. Now Russell. Certainly seen plenty of the ball since being introduced. And McGuinness all the way back to Clark. Blinkhorn. It's the return of Alan Keane. Now Richie Ryan. Blinkhorn. Still Matthew Blinkhorn. No way through at the moment for Sligo. Force wide again for Joseph, and Doyle clips it into the penalty area. Owen Doyle rising, but never going to get on the end of that one. Derry pretty comfortable at the moment. Pearce just wants Jason McGuinness to make an angle for him. But here's Owen Doyle. Chance for Owen Doyle. The touch though was heavy, and it ran away from him at the crucial moment, and Stuart Grecian cleared his lines.
Yeah, I mean, as the ball has come through, I mean, it's just gone past Blinkhorn, he just left it go. There's a little nudge. He's gone through, and it's the first touch is poor, and Grecian's got back on the first touch. Chance.
Rory Harkin, former Charlton player, was on the books of Charlton. Harkin. Deary plays it forward, looking for Mark Farron. And Clark is there to tidy up for Sligo. 4 minutes to go. Pearce. Again, Sligo going long, looking for Blinkhorn this time. And Doe on hand to mop up the breaking ball. Alan Keane's cross, and Doherty, well, all too easy for the Derry goalkeeper.
In the box, please.
No free kick. Richie Ryan went down under the challenge from Kevin Deary, who had a goal from distance. It was ambitious, but mind you, he spotted the opportunity was there, and Deary had a go, and well, sometimes they pay off.
You think you're probably watching Sheriff FC from last week. I mean, they had a few like that, you know, and he saw the keeper off his line, and it was a good effort.
Bad clearance straight to Rory Harkin. Russell sliding in. Richie Ryan trying to win it back for Sligo. McLaughlin goes down. No free kick, and now there's a bit of afters, and Richie Ryan picks himself up off the deck. You have to say it's a match which has been played in a tremendous spirit so far. Just the 2 yellow cards for Eddie McCallion and Danny Lafferty. Here's Irla Davern. Delivers the cross. Again, the quality of the crossing sometimes hasn't been of the highest standard. McLaughlin. Pearce sliding in, and he got himself into a real old tangle there, and it's going to be a free kick for Derry, and may well have the first Sligo player to be carded in this game. And it was a poor challenge. Yeah, yellow for Stephen McLaughlin for his challenge a few moments ago. So we're getting our fair share of yellow cards laid on as Lafferty tried to make progress. So Derry have the free kick here. Could they possibly snatch it at this late stage? Plenty of movement inside the penalty area. Jason McGuinness is there with a firm header away. Back in from Rory Higgins. McGuinness is there for Sligo. Once again, one of the quickest players to react. And now Matthew Blinkhorn breaking forward for Sligo. Forced to check back. Here's Richie Ryan. Looking for Aaron Green. Here's McGuinness. Now Russell. Boundless energy. John Russell, he's a wholehearted player. Here's Alan Keane. Looking for Blinkhorn, but well read by McElhaney, who got there first and managed to clear. So last few seconds here. Pat, a lot of contenders, I'm sure, but your man of the match.
Yeah, there's been an awful lot of contenders. I mean, obviously Doe and a few from Derry have done very, very well, like Derry, Malloy, Higgins. But my man of the match has been the Sligo captain, Richie Ryan. I think he's just bossed the mid of the mid-park. Everything he's done has been marvellous. He's worked very, very hard and has probably been very unlucky not to be on a winning side. So my electricity man of the match is Richie Ryan.
Well, he excellent season last season, and he's also had a fine campaign, hoping to help Sligo to that long-awaited league title, stretching back to 1977. Derry making another change. David McDade is on for the last few seconds. Keane just couldn't quite provide the pass for Joseph Doe. Keane lifting it forward now for Matthew Blinkhorn. Is there going to be some late drama at the showgrounds? Joseph Doe's cross. Grecian got a touch to it, and the effort, the follow-up effort from Alan Keane off that left boot of his, not the best, mind you, and well off target.
Yeah, it's just poor. I mean, you know, it's obviously a guy that's just come back after a few things, but again, unfortunately for Alan Keane, both chances that he's had today have fallen on his weaker foot, and you know, that one I think I'll be picking up on the way home tonight, Adrian, because that was just very, very poor, and it's gone out of the car park and everything.
Kevin Deary, by the way, was the player who made way for Derry City. David McDade on. As Doherty prepares to take the kick out. I shouldn't imagine we'll have too much stoppage time to be played here, save for the hold up really while Lafferty required some treatment. We shall see. Here's Mark Farren. One of the stories of the afternoon. Farren's return, of course, for Derry City, looking for Rory Harkin, and Erda Davern elected to take no risks with that one and just knocked it out of play. May well be a late twist in the tail here if Derry could find what you would surely feel at this late stage would be a winning goal. McCallion to take the throw in. He gets the return. Delivered into the area in the direction of Mark Farren. Sligo defended stoutly. Russell, who has certainly had an impact since being introduced. Ball back into the Sligo penalty area, and Rory Harkin gets a touch to it, but it's a header well off target.
Just little chance there. I mean, Rory Harkin's come in, and unfortunately the ball doesn't have an awful lot of pace, and it's coming down from a bit of a height, so it's never going to really score from there. And Erla Davern has done quite well just to defend him and shepherd him off.
Foul by Matthew Blinkhorn and Stuart Grecian. Overall, Pat, would a draw be a fair result?
I think over the 90 minutes it probably has. I mean, I think the first half has definitely been far better than the second half. I think both teams, maybe I shouldn't say this, had probably a bit too much milk in their tea at half time and have come out a bit lackadaisical and haven't really created. But in general, it's probably been a fair result, 1-1, and I think the biggest beneficiaries out of today will be Shamrock Rovers, because they're looking at it and saying, we got a great chance to get back into this even more.
And of course they have the benefit of a game in hand. Perhaps though one last chance for either of these two sides here. Richie Ryan playing it wide now for Joey Doe. Alan Keane getting forward as well. Doe though couldn't pick out the pass, and perhaps Derry can break swiftly here and counter and make Sligo pay. It's a really strong run from Lafferty. Lafferty may have to go all the way on his own. Is that momentum just broken up by Joseph Doe? Sligo haven't managed to clear it just yet. David McDade for Rory Harkin, who controls, just lacking support, looking up to see what's on. Here's McCallion offering some support. McCallion being watched by Aaron Green, forced into the corner flag, and he's managed to win a corner kick out of absolutely nothing. Brilliant work by Eddie McCallion. Well, he was forced into the corner right by the corner flag, and he engineered the corner kick.
Marvellous work by Lafferty. Incredible to take the ball off and don't go that length of the park at this side of the game.
And it's going to be Stephen McLaughlin who's going to take this corner kick. Last chance perhaps for Derry City. In the 4th minute of stoppage time at the Showgrounds. 1 goal apiece. McLaughlin's corner kick, and that's easily defended at the near post by Richie Ryan. It's all over at the Showgrounds. It's finished honours even between Paul Cook's Sligo Rovers and Stephen Kenny's Derry City. Joey Doe with the opening goal for Sligo Rovers. A cracker from distance which took a deflection and beat Gerard Doherty, and Sligo very much in the driving seat at that stage. But Stephen McLaughlin, all his own work with the equaliser just before half time. Plenty of chances in the game, but well, it's finished honours even between these two sides. Sligo Rovers 1, Derry City 1 at the Showgrounds.
Thanks very much to Adrian and Pat down there in the Showgrounds, and that's how the result has affected the top of the table. Derry, for the moment, they take over at the top on 55 points. Shamrock Rovers, who play a little bit later on, 54 points. Sligo Rovers, still very much in contention, 52 points, but they'll see that draw as a little bit of a slip up this afternoon. St. Pat's, they're also in action later today. They're on 48 at the moment and still cannot be ruled out of that title race. I think we can have a look on the fixtures coming up later today. Dundalk against Shamrock Rovers at Oriel Park. The Bohemians play Bray Wanderers down at Dalymount. St. Pat's have Galway United at home, and it's UCD against Drogheda United over at Belfield. So the complexion of the table will change once again once those fixtures have been completed. And of course, should St. Pat's seal victory against Galway United, as Richie was pointing out at half-time, will they move right into the frame. But 1-1 at the end. It was quite tentative again in the second half, Kenny, wasn't it? There were very few clear-cut chances.
Yeah, there was. Again, both sides cancelled each other out. Sligo were the team driving forward in the last 10-15 minutes. I think that reflected how they realised how important this game was. They really needed the 3 points from this game today. Derry didn't play for a point. In fact, halfway through the second half, Stephen Kenny made a bold substitution. Mark Farring came on. They actually went 4-4-2. The Sligo assistant coach suggested, they're happy enough just to play for a draw. Well, that wasn't reflecting the manner of the substitution that he made. But as that game went on, you felt Derry weren't going to open up too much, and they felt a point from that game. You know, they would take that, considering the fact they've got UCD and Drogheda coming up in the next couple of weeks, both at home. That could well, they might look back to this game in a couple of weeks' time and say that was an excellent point. Yeah.
What do you think Paul Cook's attitude will be after that game? Because they did have the better of the second half, but really there weren't many chances.
I think overall, if he's honest, he'll be disappointed they drew. But I mean, in the second half in particular, they didn't create many goal-scoring chances, and I think that's what will disappoint them more than anything. They did look more eager, I think, to get that second goal without really being able to create anything. Joseph did his best to probe away, as Joseph does. They had the penalty claim, which we'll talk about in a moment. He'll be disappointed they drew because they needed a win, but I don't think he can be too disappointed based on how they played. I don't think they did enough to feel as if they deserved to get.
He could have done any more. He made the bold substitutions. Alan Keane came on right back, John Russell as well, and obviously Matthew Blinkhorn as well. Couldn't have done much more. Had a lot of attack-minded players on the pitch, you know, in the last 10-15 minutes of the game. So he will be disappointed. Big decision for the referee midway through that second half. We're going to have a look at it, but that's, you know, we talk about narrow margins at this level, and that was certainly a case in point.
Yeah, it's certainly one of the aspects of that second half we'll be reflecting on when we come back to you. It's time for a quick break, but do rejoin us for analysis and reaction. Don't go away.
I'm looking forward to seeing the Munster boys do well.
Paul O'Connell.
Paul would be my number one player.
Quaid Cooper.
Ron Nagara.
Johnny Sexton.
Tommy Vaux, I just think he's unreal.
Rob Kearney.
Richie McCaw.
Jamie Heaslip.
Dan Cotton.
O'Driscoll, still the best.
I like Fergus McFadden.
The wonderful players from the South Sea Islands.
The star of this World Cup for me will be Brian O'Driscoll.
If Sonny Bull gets on the pitch, he's going to excite.
I just feel Keith Earls has a big tournament in him.
I can't wait to watch Quaid Cooper play.
Kieran Reid, New Zealand #8.
Vincent Clark.
is special. The Rugby World Cup starts Friday morning at 8:30 on RTE2. RTE2 HD on ServeView, or catch up on the RTE player.
Need a number nifty? Call 11850.
One in every 2 smokers will die of a tobacco-related disease.
Today and every day, the goodness of Brennan's bread is delivered fresh from us to you. Brennan's, today's bread, today.
From Dublin and 2 from Belfast. Donegal, the fun starts here.
The KFC Boneless Banquet for one. 3 mini fillets, popcorn chicken, fries, side and a drink for fine food without the fuss.
If you don't have an iPhone, you don't have a phone with a selection of over 40,000 games. From your favourite classics to the latest and greatest. And you don't have Game Centre, where you can find your friends, wherever they are, challenge them to a game, and play head to head to head. Yep, if you don't have an iPhone, well, you don't have an iPhone.
When Joe exaggerated his insurance claim, you paid for it in your premium. Protect yourself. Report suspect claims. Contact Insurance Confidential. Insurance fraud is a crime. No exaggeration.
Now is a great time to get Sky with a free Sky Plus box, saving you €49 when you join Sky TV. Sky has something for everyone, from cutting-edge dramas to great comedies and unmissable series. Plus, the best of the US on Sky Atlantic. And with Sky's Remote Record, you can record your programmes from your PC or your mobile when you're on the go. Get your free Sky Plus box when you join Sky TV for just €25 a month. Join today and we'll freeze your price until 2013. Call us in Cork on 0818 71 6000. Sky. Believe in better.
Figo! Looking strong, Luis.
So we have to take care of ourselves.
Here's to men like Figo who never give in to grey. Just for Men targets only the grey. Nothing is easier.
Still got it.
Just for men. For me, it's number 1.
It's not just the clash of the Ash, it's the clash of the Titans as Tip and Kilkenny meet in tomorrow's All-Ireland Senior Hurling Final. Join Michael and the panel from 2:15 on RTE2 for our extensive coverage of the big game. Sunday Game Highlights programme will review the action and, of course, bring you the scenes of celebration from the Winners' Hotel. That programme starts at 9:30. M&S is on at the new time of 7:30 this Monday, looking back, of course, at this weekend's Airtricity Premier League action. Then the Republic of Ireland are back on international duty on Tuesday afternoon with the European Championship qualifier against Russia in Moscow. Our coverage will start at 3:30 in the afternoon. A reminder once again that is an earlier than usual kickoff. Well, this afternoon's Airtricity League man of the match is Sligo's captain Richie Ryan. He's now talking to John Kenny.
Okay, I'll do it. Thanks, Rick. Thank you. Well done. Thank you. Thanks very much. Thanks, lads.
Well, that interview took place very, very quickly indeed, but we will get back to it. That was the end of it, so we'll spool back and we'll get John with Richard Ryan very, very shortly. But first of all, let's reflect on the second half and reflect on the overall picture now in the Premier Division. I said at the top of the programme that Hoops fans will be watching in with interest, and they'll be quite pleased now that that game ended in a draw.
It is a great day for Shamrock Rovers. They are a point behind Derry now with 2 games in hand. And that's a great position to be in.
I think we talk about this is a good point for both of these sides. I think that will depend on what Rovers do against Dundalk. if they go and beat Dundalk at Oriel Park today, suddenly this isn't a good point, particularly for Sligo. If they go and lose points today, particularly if they were to get beat at Dundalk, suddenly both these sides, in particular Derry, I think, and tell you what, that's an excellent point.
OK, it'll be interesting to get the perspective of the Sligo camp on that result, so we can now hear from Richie Ryan. He's with John Kenny.
Well, Daniel Gibbons from Electricity presents the Man of the Match award to Richie Ryan, the Sligo captain. Richie, 1-1, happy enough with that result?
Not really, to be honest. I think we've just controlled the game, I suppose, against one of the top teams in the country. Obviously, we know Derry are a good team, but I think if we had taken the chances we created, it could have been a high scoreline for us.
You did have a lot of chances and a lot of possession in that game, so the pity from your point of view is you didn't turn them into goals.
Yeah, I think we'll take a lot of confidence from controlling the game against a team like Derry City, who like to get the ball down and pass it, but I thought we had a lot of possession, controlled the game, created chances, but on another day we'll take our chances hopefully next Friday.
I suppose it just shows you the closeness of the title race. This really is wide open, isn't it?
I think we've 8 games left now, and I think there'll be a lot more twists and turns before the end of the season, and we'll be looking forward to it. We'll be in the mix thereabouts.
Yeah, Kenny, that's a very accurate appraisal of the second half. A very honest interview from Richie Ryan, but you can sense his frustration, can't you?
Yeah, you can. I didn't agree with the fact, yeah, they had a good possession of the ball, and yes, they were in control, but didn't create too many clear-cut chances. I can only remember a shot from Aaron Green at the edge of the box, Alan Keane having a shot from the edge of the box on his left foot as well, the penalty appeal. Apart from that, I don't remember them fashioning too many opportunities. I thought Derry kept their shape well. They sat in there. We spoke in the first half about the Derry defensive four keeping too high line, and Owen Doyle be the one exploiting the spaces in behind. They didn't do that second half, sat 10 yards deeper, and as a result of that, we didn't see Owen Doyle so much in the game. I think Sligo huffed and puffed. They looked to get on the ball and play their football, but wasn't enough end product, not enough creativity or kind of a clinical edge high up the pitch. And not today anyway. OK, well, Derry didn't have a whole lot going on in the second half either, Richie, but we kind of look at one chance that could have been put away, but it wasn't.
Yeah, they had very little going forward in the second half. This isn't something they created themselves. This is a defensive error on the part of the goalkeeper and 2 defenders. Brendan Clark comes here. The ball bounces, which you shouldn't have been allowed to do, but he's hesitating coming out. It falls at Zaid's feet. He was disappointing as well today. Expect more from him. Clark should have caught this. He let it go. But even in the build-up, McGuinness there shouldn't have let Zaid. You will watch it here now. McGuinness there with Zaid. His job there, centre-half, is to obstruct Zaid in whatever way he can. I mean, he's not going to give away a penalty doing it, but it's just to make sure that to protect his goalkeeper, that Zaid gets nowhere near it. It shouldn't have been allowed bounce there in the box in the first place.
No, and a penalty wasn't given away, but was a penalty given away, Kenny, down the other end. Now, I think the referee would need to be really fast to spot what you think you've spotted here.
Yeah, it's a penalty for me. You know, forget about Shane McElhenney's reaction, saying that Owen Doyle's like taking a dive. I've been in this situation before. You're trying to shepherd the ball out. He's digged in front. Have a look at his left arm. He actually pulls the shorts of Owen Doyle. Have a look at it here behind the goal. Again, Shane McElhenney's left arm has a little bit of a panic, pulls at his shorts and pulls him to the ground. It's a penalty kick. I think the referee's in a good position between him and his linesman. I think one of them should spot this. You know, it's very difficult once Owen Doyle gets wrong side of Shane McElhenney. Easy to say, take a step back, you can't be pulling the shorts, but he knows he's only 5 yards from goal there. He feels as if he has to do something, and he's actually very subtle in how he's actually pulled the shorts. I will give him that. His immediate reaction is he's taking the dive, but I can understand the reaction of Shane McElhenney, but there was contact. He did pull his shorts. Owen Doyle felt it, hit the deck. Should have been a penalty.
I think that's the key thing. He was very, very discreet in the way he did it. His own body, I think, blocked the linesman's view, and the referee wasn't too far away. But again, it was only a momentary contact, and it all happened so quickly. It would have been very well spotted by the referee, but I don't think he was able to do so.
So maybe mixed opinion on whether that should have been a penalty or not, but a tug was spotted, but the referee didn't give it, and so no goals in the second half. The 2 goals in that game came in the first half, just in case you came in late, and they were 2 deflected shots, the second more obvious than the other. But when we saw the trajectory on this one, Richie, we kind of knew, well, it's certainly fooled the keeper.
Yeah, again, good play from Joseph. Gets past Higgins far too easy, takes a shot, and it does, as we see here, it does definitely deflect off the heel, I think, of McElhenney. Doherty doesn't move at all in goal. Then the second goal, Stephen McLaughlin.
Yeah, great play for him. Nice and positive. Shifts it onto his right foot. You know, I'll make the point again. I'm not beating up Jason McGuinness here, but he's got a decision to make. Does he stay with the run of Eamon Zayed, or does he take a step towards the ball? In the end, he actually gets a deflection on the ball. But I just felt if he kept a higher line alongside the centre half there, as soon as Steve McLaughlin comes inside, he's in a good position to make a tackle. And you know, they're big decisions that you have to make time and time again as a defender. But great credit to Steve McLaughlin. We flagged him up before the game. Again, he stepped up today and got his team an important point.
Yes, indeed. After the 94 minutes at the showgrounds this afternoon, Sligo Rovers and Derry City finished all square, one apiece. But that's where we have to wrap it up for now. My thanks to Kenny and Richie for their expert analysis this afternoon. And in a league run that will have many twists and turns, the initiative has been handed back to Shamrock Rovers, you'd have to say. And if they beat Dundalk this evening, they'll go back to the top of the Airtricity Premier Division. And they still have a game in hand. But of course, we know there will be many opportunities in what is sure to be a tight race on the way to the finish line. From all of us here for now, a very good afternoon to you.